cup of tea.
His game's his cup of tea. I have my
It's
water,
like-
which is on the side to me, and my bevo.
Yep. Just
There's
refill
like
the
30,
water right now.
40 something games here. I'm just chilling.
There we go.
And with that, we might as bring this in for
Yeah.
I honestly can't believe it, and we've started off with a guest as well. But welcome everybody back to another fantastic episode, fantastic season, starting with season 6 of the Beardy Bros Podcast.
Hello there.
My God!
Whoa.
So yes, we did talk
Cheer.
about getting guests.
Jimothy, please don't kill yourself.
No,
Like,
don't.
You almost.
We've
you
just started.
Almost freaking fell off right at the beginning.
Like,
That's
geez,
a strong start right
than I
there.
thought.
We don't need
Perfect
to
start of the year.
start this season off with a bang. Start off season 6 with a bang. Literally, he falls over, goes out his window there. That would be a bit of a momentous occasion. Jeez, but no, it's yes, we're back.
There's a
It's
fence
crazy.
just right behind me. I don't want to hit that.
You roll
No,
through
please
through the glass, continues to roll into the fence, just keeps going. It's like
Oh fuck.
what's that game? I can't remember the name now. That
This is just gonna be the Dread Pirate Roberts falling down a freaking
Yeah.
hill all over again, going
Yeah,
forever and ever.
what's that? You know,
and
game
ever.
I'm talking about where you roll things up and you keeps collecting. Come on, what's it called? I forgot the
Yeah,
name
triple
of it
played
now.
it
Oh,
recently.
Katamari.
Katamari, that's it,
Katamari.
Katamari.
Katamari, yeah.
Jim just becomes
Yeah,
Katamari.
recently, I was
He
like-
just rolls and just keeps rolling.
La, 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 la,
It just keeps
la,
collecting.
la, la, la.
Oh my God! But yes, no.
Yeah.
But yes, season 6 is here for everyone. If you're all back, welcome back. Listening isn't even really listening anymore because now it has evolved to visual. So it's
Watching.
video. It's
Yeah.
always video. Everything's watching now. So I'm,
Do
I'm
we
now
still
saying,
have a Spotify?
yes, we start Spotify. I'm just second guessing myself. I'm trying to remember now. Did I actually upload the last episode from last?
Uh-oh.
Because I'm always behind. It always happens after check. I think I did. I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
But
Cool.
that was our Christmas,
It's
like
fine.
New Year's. We had a Christmas episode, then we had a New Year's episode. Now we are in the new year, and it's just like,
We are
wow,
in the new year. The 4th.
here we are.
Here
Like
we are.
4 days into it already. Like that's crazy.
Nearly a week in.
Like
5th,
it's
very soon.
unbelievable how far we've ended already. Like it's crazy. Man, how time flies in the year.
Time is relative.
Time is relative, but no,
Sheesh.
Time
but,
is relative, brother.
it's crazy. But I would like to welcome our guest. We have Crimson Raven with us today, and joining us
Well, hello there.
for the yeah. So we're going in hard. We got a guest straight up off the bat. Someone new
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
show. So go in, go
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was very prepared. I was made aware of it 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I literally said, I was like,
That's how we
oh,
gotta do it, though.
maybe we should get you on the podcast sometime. It'd be great. And then I was sitting there like, hey, would you like to join us today? It's like, well,
I was like, yeah, I just finished my shift. Fuck it. Just let me go wash my face. I'll be back.
that's it. Let me
And,
just put my face on.
coffee.
Coffee is the
Put your
the
face
primary
on.
key. But no, it's I'm hopefully looking forward to this season.
Not
I
coffee,
always
but-
said.
Cheers.
Yeah,
One
cheers.
of the one of many. The one of many. I've got some kind of caffeine. It's Coke, not the other kind of
Oh,
Coke,
yeah.
the normal liquid kind of Coke.
Oh, I thought you had like a Kraken or something.
But,
No, they don't tempt him.
a little bit.
Oh, American honey.
A little bit. I did spice it up a little bit with the some out of Kraken.
Ooh,
So yeah, so
shame.
better go on down. So it's good. But yeah, so I think the first question to ask is how was everybody's New Year? Jim usually used to be asking this, but
Right
Is he-
now, I mean, I could start.
Actually,
I think Jim's trying to think. Yeah, go for it.
I might as well.
just another day. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same as always. Just played games, streamed, and that was it. Like, that's all I
I mean,
did.
for me, a bit like what I said before, I am currently kind of recovering from a massive food hangover.
The good old food coma. Lasting for days.
yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I've been back home for a couple days now.
Yep.
Because my family lives pretty far away from where I
Yeah.
am. And it had been 8 months since the last time I had seen my grandma.
Oh wow.
Lost 20 kilos since, and she freaked the fuck out. Um, so yeah, no, that was just, and I was like, "Hi, Grandma, how you doing?" And really, her face. My grandma is a terrible liar. She cannot bluff. She
Oh
cannot like.
no.
Okay.
uh,
The only thing I saw in her eyes was not even like love or relief or any. It was panic. Okay. Like,
uh,
holy shit, he's lost way too
like
much weight. We gotta
just
fatten him up
gone
again.
white kind of thing. Just like she's
Yeah,
shocked
just
with
gone
like,
Oh yeah.
white.
hey,
And I mean, I'm not white enough as is. Like, I don't take that from the neighbor. She's just as white as I am. So she has seen a ghost as soon as she saw me. And her mission from that moment on was to fatten me right back up. So I'm recovering from that.
Just food, eat. Here you go,
Oh yeah.
more.
You know those people shoveling coal into a steam locomotive. Basically, her with food
Yeah.
with me at the
You were
other
the
end.
locomotive, yeah.
I was thinking, bro, like when Goku eats, got all these fucking bowls and plates stacked.
Oh yeah.
More.
Oh yeah.
Loud.
Yeah. Except I wasn't keeping up anymore.
It's like, enough! It's like only one bowl. Like,
I can't.
you
Right.
can't, before you try to say anything, just another spoon in the mouth.
Oh no. Yeah, so that was something. Other than that, the return to work was kind of rough.
Yep.
But I've been getting better. My schedule is finally starting to. My
Even
body's
out,
finally
like-
getting used to my schedule again.
Yep.
Nice.
Because working nights tends to be a bit rough. And I had to kind of switch back to a daytime cycle for visiting my family because they don't live at night.
Right.
Not
And now I
vampires.
had to switch back to be able to get back to work. And I'm finally, guys, like today was kind of the first day that I was able to get through my whole shift and not kind of die in the process. So I'm getting better. I'm recovering.
That's good. Yeah. It's always yeah.
It'll take a couple more weeks, easy, like to get
I
back
know,
into
that's
it.
it. Like
No, I've been doing this for long enough that I
Yeah.
can turn myself around within a couple days usually pretty
Oh,
quickly.
yep. Nice.
easy. Yeah, response time.
So
Easy
usually
response
like
time.
2 3 days and yeah, I don't
Recovery
have too
time.
much input lag when it comes to that.
Yeah. Like, where am I? What have I been doing? Like, some people just be like, I'm on holidays. That's like me. I'm like that. Like, I finished work in like start of December, been on holidays extensively, and I'm technically now in a quotation unemployed, even though I do have an
Oh.
employer. It's because of just
Yeah.
labor work, and then I was just like,
Yeah, right.
who knows when I'll work again?
Your
know?
phone will just ring or something. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
so jobs have been coming through, but they're not for my area. It's like I'm not traveling that far for work. You don't pay me enough. Like,
Yeah, I hear you.
it's
Alright.
one of those things. It's kind of sucky. So
Yeah.
nah,
That's
just
the
enjoy
other
it.
thing. That's the other thing for me is I've been looking for new work, even though I do work. I've made it fairly clear that I was looking for work.
Yep.
Alright.
Um, and luckily, it seems like interviews are finally starting to come in. So,
Oh, that's good.
because yeah,
Nice.
quite a few people are finally kind of getting settled on what their 25 budget is going to be, and
Yeah,
for whatever
everything's
the fuck
starting.
they're finally starting to rehire. So I'm starting to get calls. So that's a good sign.
I definitely think like the
But-
start of the years are like the best time to look because you go through the Christmas cycle, everything kind of starts.
Yeah, because
back.
they kind of
That's,
fired the end of the year,
I would
then
say-
come out
I
to
would say
rehiring
that's
again.
kind of yes and no. That's kind of a double-edged sword because a lot of what's going on too is that a lot of places are going to just spend all of their fucking budget for the holidays
Yeah.
and like pre-holidays, like let's say October to until end of December.
Yeah.
Which means usually that by the time January comes around, they're broke.
Yeah.
Unless they have
100%.
like subsidies coming in or stuff.
True. Yeah.
So So it's kind of double-edged. When I was working freelance, as a programmer, usually January, February were completely dead.
Yep.
I couldn't get shit.
Guess like I say
Now
because
that
of the
I'm not
whole.
a freelance anymore, the January is a bit better, but it's still
Yep.
eh.
Yeah.
But this year it seems to be picking up, so I'm very happy about that.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Uh,
It's friggin' handy.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I know
And
nothing
yeah,
about
no,
it, but
some of the calls I've been getting are going to be pretty
I was
could
thinking
be
about
pretty
that.
hilarious.
I was
Let's
thinking
just put
about
it
that,
that way,
working
considering
in
and
some of
then
the
push the
industries I've
red
worked in.
button.
Because it's like what tech support in a sense as well.
Mm.
So you
I've been working several
like
different things. Because I was a freelance for a while, I had to be able to do a bit of everything.
yep.
Yeah.
But I was basically, by trade and by schooling, I am a software engineer.
Yeah.
But I've been working in information security, speaking of the big red button, as soon as,
Push
pen
the red
testing and
button.
things. That's the big red buttons we've been talking about.
Right?
Um, and then after that, I've been doing also like defensive security and systems administration, like server running and a bunch of stuff like that, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Can get a bit chaotic,
That's yeah. I
a
was gonna
lot
say
chaotic.
security. Yeah.
Because
Especially
it
in this
depends
day and
not
age,
just
like
you, but the
that's
other people on the other side of that.
Oh yeah, it's a cat and mouse game. So
digital
it's
security.
it's
Well,
constant.
that's a big thing. Like digital, like any kind of like because I'd feel like that covers a broad, like a not a broad, like that's a vast because everything's digital these days. Like everything's
Yeah.
digital, so
It
I
is.
imagine like everything's dependent. Like just like the door to like get into like an off, like that's digital. That's connected to a like there's
Yeah.
a server that's someone
Oh yeah,
connected to, and someone runs that. Like everything's digital
and that
these
is
days.
some of the most easily spoofable shit in the universe too.
Yeah.
Um,
I watched it. I have
those,
people buy those fucking what's those sticks. Fucking I was gonna buy one.
oh, the Flipper Zeros.
Yeah, the flippers. Like I keep thinking the dolphin. I call them the dolphin because of the flipper. Like that was my joke.
Dolphin.
Yeah, because it's
right.
the joke
But
for him.
no,
Yeah,
a Flipper is a Flipper
insane.
should.
Like it's
I
insane.
honestly am of the belief
What even
that
is that? I mean,
so a Flipper is basically a little tool. It's a network tool.
Oh.
It's about the size of a thumb drive.
Yeah.
A bit bigger. But the thing is with that thing, I honestly am of the belief that a flipper should be considered a weapon.
Yeah.
Because you could
Oh,
actually
yeah.
kill people with that.
It's scary. Like the access you can get to devices that are again all
'cause
digital.
what that
It
thing
looks like a Tamagotchi. What the fuck?
Yeah, basically. But the
Yeah.
thing is, what that does is it allows you to scan every kind of
Electric.
waves, like signal waves that are coming around
Yeah.
you. You can either register that, either decrypt, well, try to decrypt that. A lot of it is going to be brute force, but you can
Mhm.
still,
Yeah.
trick your way into
That's
things.
dangerous.
Or just replicate a signal of any kind. Basically, somebody
Yep.
who uses like a magnetic card to get into a building or a hotel room or something like that. It's all the same fucking technology anyway.
Yeah.
If I could scan a flipper, I don't have it on me right now. It's all the way over there. But if I could scan a card with that, and it takes a second,
So yeah, take the data. Yeah.
I can then
Yep.
replicate that signal and use it to basically make myself be that person, pass for that person in terms of the system.
Yeah. That's
Same
crazy.
shit. Same shit for car keys. The new like new-ish cars that have those
The
keyless
auto.
starts.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say
The
keyless starts.
mm.
That's be in the
This is
proximity.
an RFID signal. It's
Like-
exactly the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's just gonna be in proximity of
Same-
it. Anyone can take it. Like start it.
So
Yeah.
you can scan that, spoof that. It's extremely easy.
And that's why
Um,
I'll say the biggest issue with that, like that's why people have their cars stolen because they're in a close proximity to a house, or usually on a key hook, which is close to the front door. I mean, you've got to be in range, but there are ways where people just literally can get into a car because they don't lock it, start the car because it is in range, and some people can get away with a car. Like, it's a one-off start.
Well,
like, you
not
can't
just
start
that.
again, but, like,
Not
it's
just
crazy.
that. I mean, the vast majority of those key fobs anyway have lock and unlock buttons on it.
Yeah.
Those are signals you can spoof as well. So
Yeah.
even if the car's locked, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, it's crazy. Like, it's...
That's right. I just prefer the actual key.
Yeah.
Like,
But you can scan it,
Yeah,
because
same here.
it's got a signal. You can be in close range of it. Scan it, basically, from what I've gathered, and then...
that's right. People
Yeah.
want an
thing-
online future. It's like,
The
no, you
problem is-
don't.
Yeah,
You
what
are not
matters
safe
here-
from anything.
Well, the thing is, like, if we go a bit more specific here, the thing is, for those key fobs specifically, they're going to admit different, like the car start one is basically default always broadcasting because you
Yeah.
don't have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
But if you push like the lock or unlock button, it's actually a different signal that gets sent out. So to be able to spoof these ones, I'd have to be scanning it while they're pushing.
Pressing, yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes things a bit harder, but not that much. Because as soon as you've been able to scan one from a car maker, more often than not, they don't change it all that much.
No, that's why if you've
Yeah,
ever been to
so-
a
If I've been able to scan one for, I don't know, a freaking Mazda 3 or something like that,
Yeah.
well, the vast majority of Mazda 3 signals are going to be
Unless
slight
they got a
variations of it.
personalized change.
It's
yeah.
not. It's not going to
yeah.
be. It's not going to be identical because otherwise you'd be able to unlock every fucking
Well,
car
yeah.
of the
that's what I was
series
gonna.
yours.
That's what I was gonna say. 'Cause
Right.
there has been that issue if you've ever been to a car park or seen it where someone's had their fob, pressed it to unlock, and another
Yep.
you hear another beep somewhere because they are. It's a very small chance to have that, but that does exist. It is a thing
Yeah.
that can
Well,
happen.
From very shittily made cars, yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that'll happen because they don't put enough variation in the signals
Yeah.
that they send out.
It's like the old RC car. I always like to laugh about the RC
right.
car. You always had to make sure you bought
Yeah.
multiple different versions, so then you didn't interfere because you could end up having 3 cars
You
with the
control
same frequency,
your person.
and you can control 3 cars with the
You
one
can-
with the one controller because they're all on the same frequency. Like,
Right.
you gotta,
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
This is why even I don't know if you guys fly drones, but I have a little drone that I love to fly and film around with, and that one drone, the one reason I chose the one I have right now, is because I could legitimately, I have literally a slider on the
You can change it.
controller itself for the frequency that I'm sending out.
Oh, yep.
So I
That's
can
freaking
change it on
handy.
the drone and on the controller, so that
Wow,
way if
should
I'm
it, yeah.
getting any interference, I just force it to land back down and then switch it up and then.
Because
Yeah.
another thing I was thinking of that's just similar with frequency, which is kind of funny, is hotels can be the same thing too, with
Oh,
the
the
door
cards?
cards. Some hotels,
Uh.
because it's just inbred in your mind to go, okay, this is your key, this is for your room. Some places have
Yeah.
keys that actually work on every single door. It's just people,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
they
master
basically
one.
give you a
Manipulated.
fucking master key.
yeah. It's just
Yeah.
people are manipulated into realizing, oh, this is my key, this is my
Well,
room. You just stick to that. You
it's
don't
not
bother
just
to
that.
try it. But I've
It's not
done it
just
before.
that. Sometimes it's not even the key. Sometimes there is going to be some variation to the key.
Ooh,
Yeah.
But if the readers are shit
it just picks
Mhm.
it up.
and not precise enough,
Yep.
then you have to
Just,
keep
it's
yourself a
the-
margin of error.
Most of it's correct, so it opens anyway. So
But that's why
If
it's
it's
which does
like-
happen.
Because if the margin of error is, I don't know, like 5%,
Yep.
5% is actually quite a lot when it comes to
that
when it
kind
comes to signal waves.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
So if
And-
you're close enough, you might be able to get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, car keys, and I'm gonna start terrifying you now,
Go for it.
because all of that is RFID.
Yeah,
That's
it's all
the type
frequency,
of
yeah.
signals that these use.
Yeah.
RFID is used by hotel keys, by car keys. You know the debit and credit cards when you tap to pay?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Same
paywave
fucking
thing.
signal too.
Yep.
Yep.
Which, considering how easy it is to spoof, is fucking terrifying.
Yep.
Um,
They're in the arcade cards as well. They have like that tech as well. That's all the tap. Anything
Right.
that's tap based is basically
Yeah.
RFID. Everything like that's all.
Yeah,
it's
because
a majority
the biggest advantage of it is
The majority is
it's
here, like
short range,
Mm.
but
short range
the
frequency.
biggest advantage of it is it's short range. Usually,
yeah, I
for
think
an
it's
RF
roughly a foot, maybe less than that. So it's probably
I'd say about a foot and a half.
Hmm. Do you know something
because
funny?
I
about a
have
foot
one
and a
up
half.
here at the supermarket. You
Yeah.
could be right on the thing for it
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
So like you have to physically
Um,
tap
well,
touch the reader.
the
Yeah.
maximum range you
Some can be
could set it
scary.
to is about a foot and a half.
Like
Yeah.
I've been say like
Usually
this
for
is
pay
the-
machines, it's a lot shorter than that.
like because I'll say
Remotes are different. They're infrared, but
no as an example
Yeah,
like
that's,
let's just say it's like paying on my phone. This is
Yeah.
the pay like the
Oh,
FBOS,
yeah.
the thing. Like I've been in a place before where it's like it's on the countertop and I've had my phone to get ready to tap it and I'm like out here and it's just gone beep before I'm even near
that's
ready to.
fucking dangerous.
And
that
it is because
Yeah.
like it's just like away from it like but it's that strong of a frequency picking it up. I didn't have to be near it and it tries taking the transaction.
Just think
near
if
a beep
someone
and
else
read it.
like brushed their card like that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
painful as shit.
I feel like that's where like people's cards skim. Like that's how people get because some of them that's like
well,
I-
not just that. It's
yeah.
it's also for card skimmers. That's the way they do it because the strength of the signal slash distance.
Mm.
You know, it's a bit like you have to think about it a bit like I don't know, like echolocation or something. It's basically the reader broadcasts a signal, and then once it bounces onto whatever card you're trying to use,
like your signal, like your
Yep.
card,
it,
or
re-
it just bounces
it gets
back.
it gets and not only it bounces back, but it bounces back with an acknowledgement like, okay, yeah, this is me, this is my identification.
Yep.
You know, that's basically the handshake process starts from the reader,
Right.
not the card itself.
Yeah, because your
Which
card
is-
doesn't do anything. It's just
Because your card
it's
doesn't
just
have
like a
power source.
verification. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Your card doesn't have like you're not carrying a fucking battery on every card you have.
No,
No,
it's just,
There's
it's
no
just
power
ones and
source, so
zeros
you can't
basically.
broadcast from that.
Yeah.
It's the reader that has all the power.
Exactly.
It just takes
Because
all the
the
ones
reader-
and zeros basically and the twos
Yeah.
and three whatever and it just goes okay this is
It goes
yeah.
it
You know,
goes and
0, 0,
reads
1, 1,
whatever's
0,
on the
1.
chip and
That's what
then
that is.
processes that information and
And then-
then does whatever it has to do with it.
That's where it knows to go like
Um,
okay this is MasterCard, this is Visa, this is American Express because whatever the formation of numbers and then that's
yeah,
what the
with
whole
those
process is.
numbers and blah 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 blah. All
And
the
then
info that
it
goes with it.
basically
Yeah.
calls and it's like a phone call like it goes okay tap okay phone call yep this is it yep sweet and that's basically how it works like I have watched a video on it recently and it talks about
Yeah.
the evolution of like how like telephone calls worked and frequencies work. It was very interesting like how things have evolved over the years and it's all that text kind of included in itself because it's all the transfer of like frequencies and ones and zeros
Yeah.
and shit. It's very
Yeah,
fucking
the biggest
it's crazy.
the biggest problem with that though is because those cards have to be completely passive and don't have a power source,
You
which
can't stop it.
No, it's not constantly easy readable. Yeah.
that is actually what makes it so easy to spoof.
Mm.
And that's
'Cause
why
as soon
most
as
wallet makers now have that protection built into the wallet where
Yeah.
people just can't scan
The-
in your
yeah.
pocket.
Yep.
Because that was a real thing.
Like these
Yeah.
are basically RFID proof,
Yeah.
so that if somebody comes close to me and tries to freaking
Skim your money or whatever. Or you-
skim
yeah,
me
whatever.
with a either with a flipper or another tool of the same kind, they're gonna have a lot more difficulty doing it.
Mm.
Yeah, because that scrambles the signal. So
Mm.
It doesn't really scramble it all
blocks
that
it.
Well, it
much,
kind of
but it
blocks, but-
weakens it a decent amount,
Yeah.
and also because
they have to be
there's
there for
lot
a
less-
longer time, which is a bit sus.
Not just that, it's also the fact that it kind of
Helps weaken that,
a lot of the material of this kind is
Interferes,
kind of
yeah.
electronically conducive up to a point. So basically, what they're counting on is that you have more than one card with
It's-
RFID in your wallet and kind of
Mm.
scrambles them together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like basically like a magnet is as a sense. It kind of like, and that's the
Yeah,
funny thing. I wanted to
kind of.
segue that, which makes sense with the same thing, because I actually found out when I was working in retail that if you have enough cards because they're all RFID, because they're all chips with that
Yeah.
RFID, you know, the whole frequency thing. If you have enough stacked together, you can actually set off like shop the buzzers. You can
Yeah.
trigger them off. Because I would always stack in my wallet or in my phone case. I don't actually have it here, but I would always have like my 2 bank cards, my like arcade card, my bus card, like, and they'd all be stacked together. And I found I had to
Yeah.
like separate the cards information between, like, I'd have to separate like a couple of cards and have a gap, and then up them cards together, because when they're all stacked on top of each other, it created like a magnet frequency, and it would always set off the buzzers. Every time I'd go through a shop, it just set them off.
That's crazy.
And like, it's crazy to think like you just had to get like
Now
4 or 5
why
cards.
some people leave a shop and the thing goes off, but they've done nothing wrong.
Because they got 4 or 5 cards.
cards.
Yep, because they're on top of it. You need to separate them, so there's like, you need to go like
that.
2 space by like 1 or 2 cards, and then another 2 or 3, and you're fine. But if you have 5 cards on top, it just creates a magnet field, and it's just, it's crazy.
Well, when you think about it, some of the earliest forms of RFIDs were used for anti-theft purposes in shops, in retail, like clothing stores. The magnetic tags on those, that's also RFID receptors, with the thing in the doorway being the reader in that case.
Right. I mean, they still use them, so
yeah.
I mean, it's more refined.
But now there's devices that you can literally just buy for those. Like, they're for the shops to use, but you can get now handheld versions of those to just take them off, mate, because magnet based, because they're all held by magnets, the pin. And you can literally buy online now those things, so you can just fucking, it's crazy. You can steal stuff. It's just like, because that's what we had when I was working retail. That's the thing we had to be observant of, like people doing that, because people were starting to buy those little devices to take things off. Like, it was crazy. Like, it's phenomenal the things that they come up with to.
And if
remember Kmart, they had it for the movies and that too. Maybe you had to, like, if you didn't scan the movie, your fucking case was, you couldn't open it. That shit just pissed me off, because they'd go bloop and then give it to you. Sometimes it never did it. It was like,
the little
they just fucking get a knife and just try and case it was like, fucking scanned it, didn't work. Just,
Well, that's like we had the security, the big security cases.
Then they got rid of them, like,
because it was because of that reason, because the magnets were 9 out of 10 times not working. It was a very more high ratio, and people were getting frustrated because they had to crack them open, and then the damaging cases would damage the warranty, and they just removed them. Sometimes they ended up just come pre-unlocked because it was just theft. It wasn't stopping people stealing. If someone really wanted to steal it, they'd just pop open the case and steal. Like, it wasn't stopping anyone at all. Like, we had the hard cases that they'd go into. Like, I'm guessing you might have hard cases at your shop.
Oh, the big outside cases,
yeah, like the big clear plastic and your item goes inside. We had people cracking those open. Places. We had people... I ended up having to crack them open because some of them were damaged sometimes at work, and the person wanted to buy the product, and it was the last one. I couldn't get the lock open, so I actually had to pry them open. I learned to snap them open. It was... but, like, the bosses allowed me to do it, but it was just one of those things. It was just... You know, like, it's just crazy the shit that they're trying to make to prevent.
You can never stop theft. If someone finds a will, there's a way. Like, there's always some way to do it.
Because there's like the spiders that you wrapped over everything, and 9 out of 10 times wrapping a spider was damaging products, then really preventing the theft of it. And people weren't impressed at buying them, but then they really weren't that hard to steal from. If you just played around with them, you could steal out of them too. Like, it's... I feel like 9 out of 10 times, again, like, anti-theft creates more problems than the theft itself.
That's why it's best to do what they do now and just have the stuff not in the cases. Have an empty case on the shelf.
I can't say for like digital security, that's a different story, but like physical security, it's like people know like anything like that's physical.
Like, digital security is fucked because even your gift cards, people tamper with them.
It really depends. It really depends on.
People use them in store without even taking the scratching part off.
Oh, that's just people being... They can't even do anything with that. They can scratch it, but they can take the numbers, but unless they're constantly scanning them and hoping someone buys it and redeems it, and then luckily enough be like, yes, someone just bought this one today, you know, that's a big chance. I mean... Yeah,
but still, like...
Yeah. Like,
people, man. People.
It depends on how much you're... The fact of the matter, like, most anti-theft is always going to be... Nothing's ever going to be foolproof.
Except...
And nothing's ever going to be proof.
Take out the part of it that they want. Just have a casing
display.
Yeah, and even then, that doesn't mean that nobody's ever going to get in the back. So,
they're gonna have fun doing that here. Like, there's always someone coming in and out of that thing.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised, honestly. Like, when I worked retail, and I'd work, and even with people at the front or at the back, you would have people just walk through those flappy doors and just like. Be out the back. Like, we had one person literally just walking through the double doors, walk through the back end of the lay-by section, then walk back out. And people just dumbfounded. People just stand there. Like, people just go, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they walking through here? And then you'd be like, by the time you say anything, they've already left and walked out. It's like,
That is
You get
that is one of the basic prints. That is one of the very that that might not have been voluntary, but that is one of the very basic principles of social engineering. If you've ever done or heard about that, is basically you don't need to fool people for that long.
Yeah.
You just need to fool them for long enough.
Yeah.
So
and I said people, and there's like the shock factor, like
which is not very long. So if they're confused, if they're legitimately confused, and freeze from being confused, that's usually enough.
Because you're already gone. Like,
because you're already gone. And then again, it depends on your objective. If your objective is to gain information, then it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
But if your objective is to get into a place you're not supposed to get,
the old put on the hard hat, grab a clipboard and a ladder, and off you go.
I mean,
that was back in the old days.
I've always wanted to try that though. I've always wanted to be like a smartass and just be like, have a ladder, have a
like
vest.
You need to check the wide or like
yeah, I've always wanted to try that.
I've fucking done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've fucking done it. Because basically, I wanted to. One of my old clients when I was working freelance. Can't name them. NDA still. But
That's it.
But they were basically a very, very heavy construction company, basically building big, very heavy infrastructure, like think electricity providing structures.
Yeah.
So big power stuff. And I was hired by them because they had some security people on retainer basically all the time, but they decided that they were due for an audit. I figured that they had a problem at some point and realized that they might have been lacking. So they were like, well, we're going to get somebody from the outside to just test what we have.
Yeah.
And that somebody from the outside happened to be me.
And that's the best way to fucking do it.
Yes. Yeah. Because they were like, okay, here's your contract.
Yeah.
I had very specific parameters of things I was supposed to look for.
Yeah.
And places I was supposed to try to get into that I shouldn't have, or information I was supposed to glean that I shouldn't be able to.
Yep. Testing security.
And then basically they went, you've got a few weeks to try to get through that list and then make your report at the end. And if you have been able to or not gain all of that, it's basically just, it's literally just a quest journal. It's a fetch quest of things that I'm not supposed to be able to get.
But it's literally testing security because then it shows you, okay, here's a base, mostly from like
but
easiest to hardest.
What to do? You should just go there and see what.
That's the point. They give you a base list that's mostly easiest to hardest to kind of go. This is bag spectrum, and then you go just go in and see what you can get because then they can test. So what they presume is easy may not be easy, but then what may be hard, you know what I mean? It could be, you know what I mean? It's one of the things. Like it's
the thing
their
is,
presumption.
Here, for me, I have to have a very, like, Jimothy, usually I would kind of agree with you here in that, they shouldn't be telling me what I can and can't test.
Right. Like that.
But the problem is, I never do anything if I don't have a scope, because if I don't have a scope and they just tell me, go find whatever, and I find something really fucking egregious, I could get sued to the ground.
But that's on them because
they can turn on anything. That's why it's
The thing is, I cannot afford enough lawyers for that.
No, but it just gives them the spectrum. So then it goes, okay, this your boundary of how far you can go. Basically, it's a guideline. Exactly. So it gives them a boundary range. And then if he happens to find something more than that, they've already given him a base structure. So if he's able to find something else that's out of that list, that shows that there is protocol problems that they have. Like that's the point of having a list. So
I have found every time that would happen, I would say I would find something that might be out of scope or something. I'll mention it that I've seen that, but it's not going to be written in the report because that's not been hired for. And I'm definitely not going to. More often than not, I am not going to send that to the public, at least not until a while.
Yeah.
Because it's like I cannot afford enough lawyers for this.
Mm.
All right. And I would get, we all know whistleblowers.
That's exactly it. So that's
know,
why these protocols.
a lot of big companies love to kill the messenger. So let's not let's not ruffle those feathers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why there's a range of why you got to follow these step by step, and that's the same thing with like mystery shoppers, like anything like that. Like, it's the same thing. There's a follow steps they got to follow. So they come in, like a mystery shopper comes in, and they have to assess these things. Like no one's meant to know, but it's to test. Is the staff following what they're supposed to do? Is management following what they're supposed to be doing? How are customers acting? Like, what is security doing? Like, how's things are running? And that happens everywhere. So basically, that is still being a mystery shopper in sense. That would be the best way of putting it.
Although the scope here is wildly different in that. Here, when I do a security scope, usually the thing that I have to have listed is basically the category and the kinds of information I should not be able to get that I should try to.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the method into which I obtain that information is entirely up to me.
Yeah, because then that counts for
I could try to literally physically break into a place if I want to, as long as it's within the scope.
Yeah, because then it tests that level of security. So it's like I'm guessing like this perspective, you could find out if you can get it from someone vocally, physically, like kind of like the thing like that kind of spectrum. Or just visually, because you could just casually walk in and
stupidly engage with somebody in conversation and have them hold the door for me as they go in.
And that's it. And then that's a breach of like protocol for security.
That's a breach of security.
Like, there's all these different things like that, and that's what you test for. Like,
it reminds me of Hitman, where you just get the conversation and just
that's actually that's the thing.
With them in there. It's like...
That's why like you hear those stories where people hack someone, like some random guy would hack a company and get Rockstar's data or PlayStation's data or something, and they go, well, you've hacked our systems, like. That's a digital form of it, but let's hire you.
Let them in there, so.
Yeah, it's like it's like someone's hacked the system. Let's hire you because you know how to get in.
Most of that is an ex-employee just went, nah, fuck yous.
No, but there are people that literally hack shit though. There's like people that hack shit. That's why they hire them to come on as security afterwards because they know.
Yeah, because it's usually a developer's friend who access to computer. It's like, ooh.
No, not always. Like there's people.
No, that's
actually...
what it usually is. Someone's friend or something, they're like, get all this shit. It's like
people are pretty crazy at hacking. Like, it's not that hard if you know the way around of it. Like,
yeah, the thing is that I'm kind of in between you here when it comes to what you're saying. In that a lot of the biggest hacks that happened, the biggest data leaks that happened in the last decade or so. It may be even more. The vast majority of them had, I would say, an accomplice, whether conscious or not, whether wittingly or not, they had somebody on the inside that they
and that's part of the step. Like that's part of the process.
Either through social engineering, grabbing info that I shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is what they usually get. Just someone's computer.
Or from having a literal accomplice on the inside.
But like I said, there's all these steps. That's what I mean. There's all these steps, but it's not just straight black and blue. Like, Jim, you're saying like it's it's not as easy there because some people literally can hack things. Like some stuff is that basic.
No, some like because most devs are at home working.
They need some information.
There's their computer. They can access a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it's
and that's how things leak as well. Like they go into someone's thing and get certain files, and they get passwords to enter the big stuff. Like
that's why I always say like it works and stuff. Don't be careful what you click on. Be careful what links you because it gives access keys. Like that's always a common thing which gives these hackers a step
Never
forward
click
into
a link
it.
You don't know. Like,
but that's what I mean. That's things like that is what gives you the step forward into the back door, basically, and you can get into things because like that's what we used to do.
Thankfully, them companies have big enough security that they only get so far.
Yeah, it's not just that. Like it could be as stupid as it might be. Like that keeps reminding me of a story told by Pirate Software, who does very similar work to what I've done. Where he would go and test out, and the most basic form of social engineering I could think of.
Yeah.
And basically, when he would call a company, in that case, it was whatever company he happened to be working for at that moment.
Yeah.
And basically go, hey, I'm thinking of applying to work with you guys, but I can't cook. So, do you guys have any like restaurants around the office that you go and like to eat and whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And if whoever he's talking to gives him any kind of response,
Oh yeah.
then he suddenly knows that, oh, there's going to be a bunch of cards that I can bring my little flipper tool and scan
Yep.
at that
Security,
restaurant at noon.
Security protocol breach, like it's.
And now I could just go in and do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
That is so. That's why I say there's always an accomplice, even if they don't want to be.
That's what I mean.
There's
Yeah, there's a thing to it,
and an aggressive accomplice. Like you've got both
but
sides of the coin.
Yeah, there's a whole step that gets into it, but like I said, what Jim says, it's not so simple of being
able
like
to
a
hack shit.
It's a
requires
whole
information and several things
like
to be in place.
I used I used to hack the school networks because they always have the locking. They used to have like the locking parameters to keep it educational based. Like me and a few of the kids used to hack the where it's that because with IT, we found ways of hacking it, but then it was going through backdoor protocols that we found stepping through files and folders that happened to piggyback around things that we could get into, like play around with different stuff, but it was like step by step jumping around. Like it just depended on how things were. You just had to go through so many, because there was so many blocked off like walls or doors, should I say doors, that you just had a bunch of weeks around enough, you found exactly where the open latch was, and you could get into a teacher's protocol, like ID basically, or pretend to be admin or something.
Yeah, because they left that shit you could log. It just showed they put in their password, which was fucking obvious.
Like we ended up just doing basic stuff, but you could do it personally to yourself because they'd try to block it out so you can change it. So we learned to do personal wallpapers. So we had to play around with that because you couldn't get into the base settings, but you went through and you could drag in the image so then you could have your own background. But we used that process and we learned how to get into because they always had that message, school rules, you can only do this, you can only do that. I think some businesses have the same kind of background thing, follow these procedures when you're using the computer, they'd kind of give you a policy every time you're using the computer kind of thing. And we learnt to get into the main.
Not just that, like more often than not nowadays, for a lot of the bigger companies anyway, even if you like the way they do it nowadays for a lot of bigger places.
Yeah.
Is that anyway, your machine gets completely backed up every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they actually back up is the stuff that matters. Yeah. So they basically would say, okay, well, as company policy, you have to have your work file in these kind of folders and because that's the only stuff that gets backed up.
Yeah, exactly, because they need it. So you can,
and then they completely basically reset your machine and reinstall just that data every day.
And that's the same thing. Schools were like that too. They do that too because you'd have your ID as you'd log in with it. So they'd always say, have USB just in case or a hard drive, but you would always, you'd have your files that were locked to your ID. But you played around a little bit and you could, do different things and play around with it.
Or access stuff that isn't even yours.
And it was worse. It was worse because when we were doing, we started learning because we were doing computer studies and we were learning coding, and it was ironically enough we were able to use what we were doing to help fob around a little bit and get into things. But we did always little minor things. It was always fun. Like I said, all I liked doing though was getting in and changing the wallpapers.
But they also knew what we were doing because they could see it all.
But I always just changed the main wallpaper that everyone had. So everyone had that main login wallpaper, and we'd always just go in and change certain words in it. So it'd just be like little jokes.
That was the XP one, wasn't it? That green hill with the blue.
Yeah. So we'd always but the one we had, it was always just the agreement every time. It was just always the policy agreement for using the school computers, and we changed certain words.
That ages me.
And
greatly.
Yeah, I was only in primary school when we had that.
So I mean, there's different things you could do. I mean, and that's it. It's not hard to step around and.
I was in college when XP came out.
XP
I'm an old
with the
man.
green hills. That's crazy, eh?
That's hilarious. I was only in fucking.
When I was that's the thing. When I was a kid,
7.
The strongest memory I have because my dad worked in telecommunication, and he basically was like he would be tech support, like, you know, basically security, whatever, you know, he'd do a bit of everything because he would be the, you know, typical IT, like, you know, have you tried turning it off and on again? Like, that was the synopsis of it. It's crazy, like, that he used to do that.
Fucking
like,
classic.
Yeah.
But that did work back then, though. Like, you literally turned off.
That's it. It was just, a lot of it was just basic user error, though. But, like, I remember, like, the strongest memory I've had is because he would work in the office, and to date the time period was I used to play Duke Nukem 3D on the computers at his work. So, like, that's a specific staple. There'd be somehow reason to be a spare computer, or, like, I guess it was, like, the office, like, the cubicle in the space. There was 2 computers, I guess, because it's a double cubicle, but someone may not have been there, and they'd just load up. This is in a telecommunication office. They had Duke Nukem 3D on the computers to just play. Like, clearly they must have been sitting there playing and be like, yep, have you tried doing this? Have you turned on the power? Have you, like, you clearly know that they've been sitting there playing games while on the call.
It's because it's on auto. They're on flight mode. Like, they're just doing the standard.
Like,
every
it's just
fucking
crazy.
call.
Like, that's a staple time period that I have a memory of. It's just like, as a child, like, and I would have been, oh god, because I'm 30. I'll be 35 this year. Like, it's crazy to think, like, yeah, I was a kid then, like maybe 7,
a
8,
youngin.
Like, yeah,
like,
yeah, it's crazy. So it's just still a staple period. Like, I can just vaguely remember The Office. Like, I can just vaguely remember it. It's always been that same image in my head, though. That's that very beige white, like that cream white. Like, everything was just cream white and grey.
Yeah.
Like, just the blandest offices. Like, they were always like that. Like, it's just.
Still are.
Yeah, I know. It's just weird. It's just depressing. Like,
offices don't change.
No, I mean, I'm kind of in a white office in the caravan, so I gotta touch it up eventually.
I mean, it actually depends. I wouldn't say that because I've been into a few offices that were not that bland.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Was there? I'm guessing there was like a method to the madness. Like, there was a reason why they had no color, or if they had color, it's a very.
School had a white office, and he had M&Ms everywhere. Like, everything was M&Ms.
Like, I feel like there's a system to why they did it though. Like, it wasn't just to be clean. Like, I felt like it was to keep people, like, I don't know, on track.
No, it was the neutralness.
It was
of
micromanaging.
Yeah.
It was a lot of it. A lot of the open floor offices was just so managers could keep an eye on everybody.
Keep it all white so they could, so they could see people moving.
White,
keep it all white because contrast and things. It's easier to see people. It's actually really fucking impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the thing that gets me. It's crazy. Like, things are done for a certain reason, but then people adapt from that for reasons that don't make sense to the original reason. Like, it's always yeah. Like, it's always funny when things are invented.
Because a lot of them who do the adaptations have no fucking idea why it was done in the first place.
Like, that's the biggest joke. Like, for one item that always cracks me up, it's the invention of the high heels. And there's men out there that are like so like, ooh, about it, but like, the heels were made for men. Like, that was the stark class. It's like, if they just like,
because height was that important back then. Too. So
it was the high boot. Like,
just the height was a status symbol for a lot of men, as it is today. So
yeah, it's an
I don't
interesting.
get it though. Like,
that's like the shoes now. Like, have you seen like the shoes now? Like the Gap left for a bit, but now they've made shoes where they're like bigger or like to make your feet like, a little bit larger or higher. And so they look so funny now, though. Like, the soles are like this fucking big.
Yeah, like, why?
Oh yeah. Oh, my cousin has those.
I don't get it. Like,
as I said before, like I just visited family.
I mean, I'm tall, so maybe that's why. Like, I'm nearly 6 foot, so like I maybe don't. I'm high.
Still, like,
so
I prefer to be shorter if I could.
Yeah, it's.
In my case,
my center of gravity would be nice.
Center of gravity. Oh god.
So, yeah, I have seen, like, I have a cousin of mine that's like 15 years younger than I am, so he's probably somewhere around 25-ish. And I saw him just a few days ago.
And he's got those.
Shows up with soles like
Jesus.
Must be.
I don't get what.
I feel like they're like tires.
It's the whole thing. But it's the whole thing. It's a fucking platform. So
yeah, it's a whole platform. Like, it's literally.
He could wear through those. Like, it's like a tire. It's got thread.
Heels.
He could run through those for like a couple of years. Like, he could just wear those down and just get them retreaded every time.
That's basically what I told him. I'm like, dude, you're never gonna run through these. And who the fuck knows? I sure as hell hope he would never step on my foot.
Like that would, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But also, if you kick something, you're going straight down in them fucking.
My toes would turn into mush.
Like they're a great invention for people that do have like leg and performities, like performities.
Leg performities.
That's a word.
Deformities.
Like exactly.
Hard on one leg.
But like like I can understand that, or like have had like surgery
for a normal
legged
person. Like you just wear normal shoes.
Yeah, now for him it was really just he's super self-conscious about his height.
Yeah.
No one needs. It's only because of the modern day social media. Fucking.
Like I can kind of get it, but like that'd be very high. If you think you're like 5'1" or something like that. Like that'd be
4 foot or 10 foot. Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But then again, but I don't know. Like that was just a concern of his.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, because people put that into people now. Like they give them that insecurity. Like people give them that. Like all through high school, all through primary school.
I mean, we
a certain thing.
We definitely felt that
and
now.
It sticks with you.
Like because we're in our 30s. Like we were in that. I feel like definitely start of it. Like that whole demographic of that kind of.
Oh yeah.
And we're kind of like whatever because we're in that point where we're in the start of it and we're like,
I don't give a shit.
But nowadays, like the younger are a bit more self-conscious about it. Like
quite. I wouldn't say we were at the start of it though. It was always there. It's just the subject has changed.
Yeah, that's
there's more focus now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
there's
like
a lot more focus, and there's a lot more of it.
I know when you get
control your height.
But I mean, when you get older too, though, at the same time, when you do get older, you get to the point where you're like,
the older you get, the less of a fuck you give.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, who gives a fuck? Like that's where I like with a lot of things. That's why it's.
I don't care.
Yeah, like it's whatever.
Because
like,
I sure as fuck was self-conscious for a while when I got bald.
And
because I got bald real young.
Yeah, Jim loves it. Jim loves it. Jim loves the baldness, even though he's hiding it right now. He's hiding his bald head. Jim, you should cut off there.
I got bald really young, and so when you're completely bald at 25,
that could be a self-conscious kind of. You're like, oh my god, I'm losing really my hair, or like what's going on. Like you think,
but it's natural. Men aren't meant to have hair like that. Like
I've got a fucking. I'm wondering when this is gonna happen to me. Like I've got a big thick that I'm just rocking the hair until it's done. You know what I mean? Like
I'm still thinking it's a toupee just under the.
Yeah, because it's like it's like the sits. Remember that one time, Jim? There was actually an episode where like when I had my hair cut, it did actually look like I had a wig on. Like my hair sat that weird way. Like I had my hair cut. Like it was fresh within like the week or whatever it was, or 2 weeks, and I had washed it. But like how my hair sat. Like, it looked like I had a toupee. It literally did. It looked like, because of how it sat, it looked like, it was so weird. Because even Jim brought it up. He goes, you wearing a toupee? I'm like, no, like, you know my hair. Like, it was fucking weird. So, no, it is funny.
Just one of them things. Like,
but no, my hair. Like, my hair is...
Look, her hair was just sat. Like, it just plopped. Like,
it was weird, but no, like... but my family does have a decent hair. I prefer this over having fucking hair. Like, God damn. I've got the greys, though. I've got greys coming into my... beard, and there's like spots on my head that got the greys coming in. But like I think in my family the genes are pretty strong with hair, so because like a lot of my family don't really. So like I don't think I'll go bald till late, but I'll just rock my hair until I do get to that point and do like what Jim and Newton, you just shave it off if it gets to that point. Like, like I'll just rock it until it gets to that point. If it thins out, well then
Not everyone raises their hair though.
Maybe side mohawk something, maybe a side mullet will just cut the bowl head and just have the hair long.
It's called a fucking scallop, my boy.
Scallop.
Grow your hair, grow your hair long.
Do the Japanese, like there was the old like.
I prefer calling it the Devin Townsend, but
the Devin Townsend, right?
But that's who is just the fucking idol of my life. That man is just beyond hilarious at all times, and I love him.
Because like I went through a phase, and I tried and I grew my hair out. Like I actually grew it pretty long, and I got it down to like decent size on my chest. Like my hair was pretty. I had my metal hair, and I rocked with it. And then I got to the point where I was I think it was around the time when I had my first son, and I was like, let's just kind of
Like, nah.
don't need it. You know what I mean? Got to that point where it's like, they say kids might pull on it. Didn't really do any of that, but I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not that kind of guy anymore. Like, I'm not the party. You know, I'm still got it in my heart and soul, but like, I don't need to represent that. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, who is it for? Like, is the hair for me, or is it for someone else for an image? You know, like, it's like we're literally talking about. Like, is it for the image that I wanted to portray at the time?
Someone
like,
else. Never.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like,
I do this for me. Like, this beard is for me. Like,
yeah, like I enjoy it, and I do sometimes kind of miss my long hair, but like, I try and grow my hair out now, and it just irritates me. Like, it's just like I can't do it anymore. Like, it's
I actually went from metal hair to nothing. In one go. That was something. That was a shock.
Well, I was gonna say, when you got long hair and it's just like, you know, you'd be like, what's going on?
It was all the way down to about there-ish. I think Jimothy might have seen it. I know I posted a picture of that in the Lurkers Den a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had pretty long hair, and then went from that to nothing. And my girlfriend at the time was, holy shit. She was in for a shock.
That's crazy.
That's why it's weird if I cut my beard. Like, if I just cut it all off and come on the podcast.
I know, but like, what the hell? That's something that I'd be doing. It'd be something that I should be doing, not you. Like, you've got the big glorious beard. Like, you can literally look back on the podcast, like the first season.
I'm working on that now.
You can't look at the first season, but like the second season, you can at least see Jim's beard. Like, it was a lot shorter.
Roughly.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, longer than what mine is now.
Yeah, about Raven height.
yeah, and you can see it progressively kind of get longer. Then it got like a little bit short for a moment, and then grew longer again. And it was just like this whole process. Like, I feel like I kind of feel like it's a lot of work, but I feel like I would want to go over like every episode, just take a still of Jim from every episode. There's gonna be like 200 something photos, but like just get every little like screenshot. Now I'm giving myself a mission.
Way down here, like this is.
Now it's not bad if I think about it. Because I just have to open up the file and just take a screenshot. Like, that's only 200 something screenshots. I could do that. I'm gonna maybe give myself a challenge for a video. So who knows?
And it wouldn't be that long to edit.
No, because it's just frame by frame. Just watch it progressively. And then me with like, and that's like with me too, because like me, I had like a beard, and I had like sideburns, and then like a goatee, and like I've had so many different style of beards as well. And my hair.
Go through everyone as well. Just changes.
I should do that now. I'm gonna do it now. Damn it!
Then again, I was a big boy. I had like 20, 30 kilos heavier than I was now. Like,
I mean, I think I should do that. I think I should do that. Just take the main screenshot. I think I should just like thumbnail process. So just take whatever frame I click on, just take each one, and then just crop them all together into like a big sprawl of it. Just have it like a flip book, and just have it play like and whatever.
Yeah. That'd be so weird. And
then you'll see like every now and then a guest pop in the frame, and like one guest and then two guests. Because I think we've had one episode where I think we had like 3 guests on. Yeah, it was a cross collab between like us and the other
Jody, Tanner, and Wookie.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was chaos. So. Yeah, it was 5 of us. So 5 of us, imagine 5 of us in a Discord call, all just friggin' trying to do a podcast. It was great. Cross collab, but
Jesus.
It's just crazy to think like this is the 6th. Like now, I'm just reminiscing now, thinking about like we're on the 6th season. Like 6. This is the start of the 6th year of doing this. Like we started in April 2019. Like that's the crazy part. Like. It still blows my mind that we've gone this long. It's crazy.
It's 2020.
It's 2020.
2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Was it 2020 or 2019?
2020, I think. It was April 2020.
Maybe I'm thinking of the other one, because we did do a test. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because we did do a test podcast. That was with Eddie, and we were playing Warzone at the time. So maybe it was that I'm thinking of too, but that's where it started. It was like a pilot episode. So yes, we had our friend.
I'll be back. I do have my book. It's in there. I'll see what the first episode.
I can't remember now. Like fuck, it was. I know it was April. I thought it was 2019. It could have been 2020.
2020 or something.
Because it was 19 to we started weird. Because basically when we started we decided like after we'd done it, we'd do it like the year as the start point. So it's like year to like the end start to the end of the years. So like the first season was like very short because we started like in April, and then we went to that date. It's like that's the first season. This will be the second season. Yeah, no, that should be because it's 2020 was 2, 2021 was 3, 2020.
So you started in 2019 in that case.
So yeah, so I'm trying to think. Yeah, because first.
So end of 2019 for
So,
a short first, and then
2020 is 2,
because if
2021 is
if you
3.
start if you're starting
is
season 6 today, then you definitely started in
2020.
mid
No, it might have been
2019 ish.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. It gets confusing. I guess because we did because of how we started, and we were like, because when we did it too, we decided do we do from like April to April, or do we do, and then we ended up just like let's just slate it from here to here. Because the first season we did too, it was just audio. It was just like let's just see how this goes. It's just audio,
Yeah.
and then because we used our phone at the time, and I didn't really have a computer, so that's why I got my computer during COVID, like at the start of COVID. I was gonna because I remember the consoles came out and the whole thing was crazy.
Hey, because I didn't have mine during the first season either. I was building mine at that point.
Yeah, and I was like, COVID started, and I was like, well, I was going to buy a PlayStation. I couldn't buy a PlayStation. I couldn't buy an Xbox because everyone got mad for it. So I built a PC instead. Jim's got the book. But no, it's still crazy thing. Like, we had the first episode was like all audio.
30th of April 2020.
Okay, so it was 20. So I was okay.
And look how it went.
Yeah. So okay, so it's 2020. So it's still crazy. Like, but we'd known each other since 2019. So that was the. I think it's maybe what I'm thinking about. 29, yeah, 28.
Yeah, Raven. That's how the episode used to.
Damn.
Yeah, it didn't get all written out, but like we did it on our phone, all audio, and it wasn't until like after we got our computers built, we're like, do we want to do this on computer? Like, are we going to keep this serious? Like, yeah, okay. So we did the second season, and it was all. That's when the start of video was.
That's all the season so until this year, and I moved, and then all the history of the Beardy Bros.
It's crazy. Like I still don't believe the commitment.
Sweet.
Like he's got the piece of history. Like it's a weird commitment that we've just
left in there.
It just
I'm doing the same thing for I'm doing kind of the same thing for a series that I'm recording right now.
Yep.
Which is Kerbal 101, and
well, I was going to speaking of that, which you'll be able to find that over on your YouTube channel as well. I should mention that.
Yes, we will be.
So yes,
the next I've got one episode out right now. The next one is coming this upcoming Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So basically 2 days from now.
Yep.
Nice. And after that, it's going to be once a week until I run out of stuff to teach.
Right.
So you'll be able to, those that are watching and listening, you'll be able to find that over on the Crimson. I will put it up in the description, but Crimson Raven on YouTube.
Yeah,
is where you'll be able to find that at. I'll put that in the description as well.
For that particular series. Other than that, I also stream on that YouTube channel as well as on Twitch. Well, hello, cat.
That definitely feels like a gym cat. That does feel like a gym cat.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, you know how we often say like pets look like their owners?
Yeah.
This is Jim's cat. There is no doubt about it.
No, it's not though.
It's a Jim's cat. It's raised by your parents. It's not a stray. It's just like, no, it's just a stray that's just walking into my house. Here we go. Look at the cat.
Then again, that'd be a very Jim thing to do. So
yeah,
my cat.
but yeah, no, but we'll mention that though. Definitely in the description below. We'll leave the links and stuff in the description for you. Yeah. For your socials and stuff. We'll put that there as well. But no, but yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to check that out. Definitely. So yeah. So Kerbal Space Program.
So I intend to have kind of a history book of it, kind of the same way, because I do, because those are like produced instructional videos. I kind of have to. I want to make sure to keep the length of it kind of reasonable and kind of figure out how I'm going to split what I'm going to teach and in which order and everything. So I do have a big old book of scripts,
keeping it all
written already.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I'm gonna be shooting a lot of that this weekend.
Nice.
Now that I'm back home in my current setup.
Give you some
And on top of that, I intend to keep kind of that piece of history as well, because I think it's really interesting just to see how. Even just to be able to compare, like, let's say when I get to, I don't know, episode 30 or something,
if there's changes
versus
or something like
1, I'll have learned by then how to format the stuff better
Yeah.
for sure.
And
Just to be able to see the evolution of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
really
you might even find something that you've done previously that you've taught as a lesson or whatever in the episodes that you might learn that there's a better way of doing that process in the future, and you could like reflect on like that, and it's like a whole learning curve constantly. Like people are learning from you, but then you're also learning yourself as well and improving the growth. It's a double like a process, I guess.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Plus, there's also been a few other games already that some people have asked me if I was going to do instructional videos about.
Yep.
So I'm still kind of, it's not just about evolving the content itself, it's the format of it and how I decide to,
Right.
how I decide to make
how to
it
do it.
and how I decide, even just how I structure, how I shoot it, just to be able to edit it faster.
That's
that
actually
kind of stuff.
yeah. That's actually in kind of relation like how you explain that there. I was very badly explaining, but like I was trying to explain to Jim in another episode. It's kind of how I've moved away from the structure of doing Twitch and doing stuff with YouTube. Like I'm very convoluted at trying to explain things, and that's why I'm not the best at feel like being a teacher for like what you're kind of wanting to look at doing. Like that's not my kind of content because I am very awkward, and even if I had a structure, like I could not teach under the sun. I'm like one of the worst people. Like I'm a practical person. Like if I'm doing it, I can do it, but I can't teach it. If that makes sense. So like, it gets crazy. Like, but that's what I was trying to explain with Jim. Like my creative process, like I'm moving away from one direction of creativity and a different angle of creativity, and platforms are changing as well. And it's like you're saying as well. It's like you want to grab the structure that you're looking at doing and doing it in a certain way, production wise, and like how you focus it and how you do it. Like that's what I like. Well, things like that creative process.
It's not just that. It's for me, it kind of goes back to my work. To basically having to teach people what they've done wrong and how I was able to get into systems that I shouldn't be able to. That's kind of what is getting translated to my gaming content now, at least when it comes to YouTube. The stuff that I do that is not live. And
that's cool.
And then after that, I still have my live stuff, which is a bit different and kind of not all that well planned as of late.
No one's live stuff is planned like at all.
No.
I don't think.
And that's what I mean.
Like, I just go live. Whatever happens. Like,
and that's what I mean. Like that's what I like about
it. Though.
For me, the podcast, these that was literally just loose topics.
Narratives, we follow a brief narrative of what we're like. We were going to talk about.
Went on, just
I mean, technically, like this episode now, like we've got new on Raven, and like Jim had like a thing we're going to talk about for a topic which may or may not happen still this episode. I don't know now, but
it's gonna happen. I've got all the fucking
going for a while.
I know, because we I was going to say we usually sometimes go to at least maybe 2 hours. we're one of those podcasts that don't normally do what normal podcast structures do.
We don't have a time. We're just going until.
Like we've got episodes. There's an episode there that literally goes for 4 hours. Like one episode up there. Like we commit to a podcast. And like we're not the normals. Like we try to keep it within the structured confine. We don't like to get crazy, but a lot of people do like that 45-minute to maybe like an hour and a half ish. Like we're more of the hour and a half to like 2 hours. Should have given you the warning beforehand, but
no worries.
but like that's what I mean. Like it's
dip whenever though. Like
that's
we're not
what I
gonna
mean.
hold you here.
And that's like the content. Like
I'm not in a hurry.
Like that's with the content as well. Like I say to people when they listen, they go, "Oh, it's 2 hours." Like we're an episode of a podcast that you don't have to listen to in one sitting. Like you can listen to it, stop it. If you're not like getting to the point of a story, and then go do something else of your day, and then come back to the podcast. Like we're not a podcast that we're trying to keep your attention for the whole, 45 minutes. Like people try and go 45 minutes, hour, or whatever. Like we're here to keep everyone company that are listening as long as they want to listen.
We're here to talk about shit that
like,
we're interested in, and they might be as well. Which that's why they sub in.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what
you're interested in it.
And that's clear. Like that's what we go for from a podcast perspective. Is we're not trying to be so, because you look at some of them and they're trying to be so linear, scripted to a point. We're not podcasts and like some talk stuff.
We're not the trend chasers who just talk about that thing happening now, the next thing each week. But
like we did have stuff like if there's things that we've talked about in the past, like we've seen something come up and we want to make fun of it or kind of like it's curious to talk about, like even if it happens to be a trend. But like it's like I know it's just interesting like just seeing what people like. It's just everyone's individual creative process, but some people I guess try to follow a line to it. I don't know. I've lost where I was going. I lost where I'm going with it. The line I was following isn't there anymore. So it's me explaining me literally explaining it. Literally is the epitome of itself. Like it's what there is no like.
Oh yeah.
It's me. The podcast is basically me to a core. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just do it. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, sometimes we just gotta wing it.
Like, and I think that's why it's fun.
We podcast all day, every day. It's just not recorded all the time.
That's basically what it comes down to. Like, you were having the conversation when we started. That's what I was like, hey, do you want to just jump on the podcast? Let's just do an episode and just talk shit. And like, that's all it is. Like, it's just banter and having good times and just talking about shit that legally you're able to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more stuff that I can legally talk about. That could get a bit wild, but I'm gonna hold on to that for now.
Yeah, like I said, there's always another time. Like we're not done yet, but like you still got to. We're holding you onto this one. But like that's what I mean. Like that's one thing, especially now with this season starting. Like
we are committed to it. Yeah,
we're gonna have more people come back. Like even have you come back again as well? Like I'm just reiterating myself now, but like
more scheduled, like day.
Yeah, we can plan out, but like it's just crazy.
Not just hey, Ray, want to come on next hour?
I know, like I was just, but that's something I just felt it. I just felt it. I was like, that's what I said. Like come back to that. Like it's like I just felt it. I was like, no, this feels right.
We were just bullshitting right before you guys were asking me to come on in.
That's why I saw. That's why I was like. That's why I kind of laughed because I had my brain clicking over. I was like, this is the perfect time to have someone come in right now and let's just do it. Because like we're going to try and organize to get triple on, but like I know that once it gets rolling, like it'll be fucking. But it's just
we have another one sorted. Still waiting on another one.
Yeah,
which I have to talk to him about that.
So it's one of the things, and we have people recurring back, which I do want to figure out. I don't know whether we'll figure out from you at some point, but
and we'll keep back at some point this year.
I don't want to necessarily steal from what Juddy.
I don't think we'll be back for a while.
No, but I don't want to steal from what Juddy and Tanner were doing, but I kind of do. But they had a little thing where it was like, if you remember, like Jim, at like the end of their episode, they always like ask their guest for like a question to ask the next. I kind of want to steal their bit. I just want to test.
They're not doing it anymore.
I know, like I do want to steal that where you get a question and you take that question. So this is what they were doing. So at the whatever guest they had come on, I think they had like their mum or something like I think it was Jodie. I can't remember who it was. Had someone get a question from them to like ask the guest, and then that guest answers the question, and then they got a question for that. So it could be whatever the question was. It could be asked to whoever the next guest was. So it could be anyone, but like they were going to give you that question, and then they had like
at the end of today's podcast, I would ask a question for your next guest.
Yeah, and then we would have to remember that, and then ask that next guest we have come on.
I can write it down in here.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I kind of want to steal that. From. I mean, it's not their thing. Realistically, everyone does that kind of thing. But like, I thought I kind of want to do that and just mix it up a little bit because like it'd be kind of funny to like if we do get Juddy on at a later date and then just play him with that. Just so because I don't know if he listens to us, but like it's not like listening to us, but like yeah, I don't know. I just want to curveball it, like have some fun with this. I've
listened to a few episodes. I've only known you guys for a couple months though.
Yeah,
so I haven't gone through the whole catalog.
No, so that's what I mean. Like like I said, there's a lot there. There's 5 other seasons, and they are long. But that's what I mean though. Like it's like we're just like I said, me and Jim, how we're going with this is it's kind of like I do have an idea that I do want to kind of. It'd be nice to come like maybe like a radio show, and I know being a radio show will not work on YouTube because of the whole music copyright thing. But with Twitch, on the other hand, Twitch is a little bit more lenient with music, so it's a little bit of a different story. So, and even if we went to TikTok,
and no, because if you want to have anything, even like for Twitch, it's a bit more lenient if you're live, but
yeah.
As soon as the VOD goes up, if you have anything that's even remotely copyrighted, you're still fucked.
That's it. But with YouTube,
you would not be able to keep a record of what you're doing.
I'll say with YouTube, going live with music straight up they're straight onto it. Like doing stuff like on YouTube live with music.
Oh, yeah.
There's no hesitation. They're straight up like no like.
And even from games, like even soundtracks from games, if they're even remotely copyrighted, you're fucked.
Say me.
I have had that issue with a game I'm playing live right now.
Well, I'll say the biggest issue for me, like for YouTube with that, like because it's on my like streams and stuff, but just like emoting, like in Fortnite, for example,
Yeah.
that flags like there's is just a sample of a song. That's why they kind of do that process. So it's just a clip to kind of keep it in
that
mind.
is enough.
But like, yeah, even that there's the duration of that is just like, no, that's flagged, that's copyright money demonetized, blah blah blah. So it's like, geez, like there's like YouTube's just straight onto it. Like it's an emote. It's part of the
their content ID bot AI thing is particularly aggressive.
Yeah, it is ruthless. Like it's you could like it even gets people humming a song. Like,
one thing I got flagged. One thing I got flagged for.
You have to say lyrics and it picks it up. Like
and it freaks out. Like oh, that's the fun thing. Actually, speaking of that, because that's the thing I've been playing with. I don't know if you might not notice. But the last few episodes of the podcast, I noted this. I don't know where you've picked up on the episodes or where you watched them on YouTube or whatever, Raven.
Yeah.
But like a joke we've been having now was I noticed that YouTube, because of that whole detection thing, picks up when you mention like celebrities or like any kind of basically something with a name.
Oh yeah.
And it picks up what's in the transcript. So I try and like every now and then I try and see how many celebrities or names I can drop to see if it picks up in the transcripts and pushes it into the video to help kind of promote the video, because it's using those names because it's in search. Because like
to see like algorithm stuff.
Yeah, because and that's another thing I love playing with is algorithms, because one of the, which I'm going to name drop, which will work. But one of the episodes I called it was Markiplier isn't in this episode.
Yeah.
Because he was specifically, because in that episode I decided, because in that week when we were doing it, he had been popping up in people's podcasts and I guess promoting stuff and doing stuff. And I thought, jokingly enough, let's just put that in there, because let's just state the obvious. Like, it's not clickbait. Like, he isn't in the podcast, like, but he's in everyone else's. So I was kind of like making fun of that. And the like I said, we're not massive in views, but like the spike ratio to most episodes, it did jump up. Because I guess I mentioned Markiplier in the title, and then in the episode, the algorithm's like, "Oh, Markiplier, yeah, sure, we'll sort you out there. Guy. Yeah, let's get him going because he's trending." And I was just like, popped up with the amount of views, just boosted up. I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that. Like, I'll take some of these. We'll take these views. Like, it's funny just how the algorithm just knows to listen to things and just whatever the context, it doesn't know the context. It just hears those keywords like, "Yep, that's what's trending." I don't know what else is trending, but to really mention. But yeah, like we just go through names and even things we don't even like. We'll mention a product or something, or just say, like I said TikTok one time. When I was talking about it, and I did not mention any kind of artist, but because it was like close to that like I guess how we pronounced it. It's like it said we mentioned these celebrities. I'm like, we've never once mentioned these rappers I've never even heard of. Or hip hop stars or whatever, and it's like just because it's just gone. Oh, we assume you've said this, so let's just put them in the transcript, and it's just fucking wonderful. Like seeing what people it pulls in that we haven't mentioned, but it just assumes we've mentioned it because it sounded like we've said that, and it's I just love it.
It's TikTok is notoriously bad at being able to just kind of parse accents to begin with.
Yeah, so everything's just like don't pick up nothing. It's just
and believe you me, it's English is actually the language that it parses best, apart from probably Chinese, because that's where it comes from. But from having seen a decent amount of content in French on that platform, because that's my first language.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is a shit show. It's bad. It's so bad. And especially, for us French-speaking people, like we have our accents as well, whether it is, France or Africa or Canada, or even the freaking south of the US where in Louisiana, where there's a whole bunch of French-speaking people there too. Because by the way, Gambit, a lot of that Creole was actually French.
I know, right?
It was a very, very wild dialect of it, but it still is.
It's a bit of everything. That's the crazy part.
And even if you look like in the Caribbean, there's a bunch of islands that speak French. All of these accents are wildly different from one another.
And those I just
Like,
want
from
love.
my own ear. From my own ear, I could argue that there's a lot more similarities between English dialects versus French.
Yep.
You know, because even though if you look at, let's say, I don't know, Australia versus New Zealand
Yeah.
versus England, Scotland, or
Yep.
US, there's kind of you could still kind of tell which ones were relatively geographically close to one another.
Yeah, because
they're more
synonyms.
So
similar.
like us in New Zealand,
Yeah.
we have a similar
Yeah.
There's a
attitude.
there's a few differences, but it's
The
not
pronunciation
massive.
and how it's emphasized, how words are,
Like you can tell.
Yeah.
and that's
well,
why
even
like
our state to state, like I mean, does we talk differently?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like we have different.
But I'll say, speaking like you were
Themes,
saying, like how you relation, like that's like I feel with like South Africans, their English is very similar to I feel Australian and like New Zealand. That's why I think it bonds, like
Yeah, well,
it
look,
connects
it's a
and
bit
translates very
closer
well.
to it.
Like it's very closer, like because
Yeah.
the dialects and stuff, like when you compare to English, their dialects are a lot different, so it doesn't mash. Like it's Australian still, like we're heavily from the English, but like it's still so separate though, because like I say the region difference. It's when you can very noticeably tell
Like
the difference,
Queensland
and like it
compared
doesn't
to Melbourne
yeah.
are two different things.
But it's still like
Oh, yeah.
meld, like you can still meld them, and it still makes sense. Like it's understandable because it's we're in that, like say we're in that region proximity. Like it's, but it's just interesting how
Yeah,
it all
Like
works.
you're now
you know,
a big thing.
unless
listen to
you're Scotland, and in that case everything goes to shit. But
It's way different than how we say it here.
Yeah, what is it? Which one is it? The pool and school.
Pool and yeah, like how you say it normally is way different than what
Well,
like Melbourne or
yeah. So you say it. So
we say pool,
pool,
school, and you say skill and shit like
school.
See,
Like,
different
do you hear it? Like, do you
school.
hear it though, Raven? Do you hear the differences?
Yeah, I can hear the difference.
That's what I mean. Like, very interesting. Like, see, to me, like, there is I guess a difference, but like, to me, it's very understandable. Like, it doesn't. To me, the noticeable difference isn't really there because it's the base dialect. Like, but I'm like, for you, that's
there are always going to be differences, but I can find more similarities the closer the two dialects are geographically to one another. Which is why French from Canada is fucking wild compared to the rest of the planet, because we're not geographically close to anybody that speaks French.
Yeah, that's what I wonder too. Is like because of that too, everyone has like a pronunciation of how everything is. Like, I guess the person, like to me, like I hear what I sound like, and I'm like it's just an interesting thing. I guess that like adds to the whole. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I personally don't think I have a really good voice, but like. Does like
no one thinks
I don't
that
know,
voice,
but that's
though.
something like it's always interesting to think like how you sound to someone else in their retrospect, because
if you want to do that, you block one ear.
But it doesn't. But I sound like an idiot. I don't know. like it's just like
there it is.
Yeah, like that's what I mean though. Like it's an
like
interesting.
you just block one ear and talk. That's how you sound to someone.
Yeah, but like it's just interesting, like though
because you're hearing. It's weird
because how I
if
think
you block both ears, it's not.
Like I don't, my voice is very weird.
It's a weird thing.
I listen back to the podcast. And I listen to myself. I'm like, I know that's me, but like it just
like I hate it.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel like that. I don't know. It's very weird, and that's why it's always like. Yeah, I know. It's just an interesting thing. Voice is an interesting.
I wouldn't say that about myself, but then again, I've been getting used to the sound of my own voice for a long time now, because I have taken kind of voice training and singing lessons and things. But the one thing I do kind of for me, it's not the sound of it, it's my pronunciation, because English isn't my first language.
So it's kind of things that are more emphasized.
If I'm editing something that I've recorded, every time I'm gonna go, oh, how the fuck did I stumble that bad on this word? Like, because I can hear myself where my pronunciation isn't right. And especially if I'm trying to, like, if I'm live, I don't mind all that much. But if I'm trying to make something where I'm supposed to sound like I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
Well,
in that case,
So I
And in
will
that case, it becomes a bit problematic.
like I will give you a compliment there because when like she's got a headphone on now, but when we were in one of the chats like a week ago or something, we were all talking,
Yeah.
and my partner goes, she goes, like you was like we're all chatting, and clearly your voice is very prominent, and she goes, she actually mentions that you sound like someone that would have a YouTuber's voice, which is, I don't know, it's very specific. Like it was interesting. I was like, I guess yeah, like it's very, I don't know, it's very weird. I don't know, it's a weird, noticeable. I don't know whether it's because of the prominency or it's like
it's voice control mostly.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Because I've had singing lessons.
Yeah.
Because I've had singing lessons, I've learned to control my voice very well, and I've learned how to take care of my voice very well.
Yeah.
And
which is also the diaphragm,
yes,
which makes things.
no, it's diaphragm, it's vocal cords, it's even just
Yeah,
how you breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I can't breathe.
And being, having done, I was an athlete. I'm definitely not anymore, but I was an athlete on top of that. So, I actually had the core strength to
Yeah,
begin with,
right.
and then add the lessons on top of that, plus the breathing, and there's a lot that can go into it, even if you don't think about it. That I never thought I would ever make content or anything because I was
Yeah.
wildly uncomfortable on camera to begin with.
Yep.
I've gotten better with it through the years, but even then, I took a very, very long break from it because I couldn't stand to look at myself anymore.
Yeah,
Hey, that's
I really love being
the voice thing.
Yeah.
The voice thing was really just a matter of I've never really stopped taking care of my voice the whole time, and a lot of that is kind of, to me, it has become kind of muscle memory.
Yeah.
In that, in how I control how I project my voice.
Because it is very prominent. Like that's what I mean. I think that's a good like. Surprisingly, I think that's a good trait you've got. Weirdly, like I don't know, I get weird with print out like describing things. So I go, oh yeah, you figure that by now. But like it's a good voice for definitely for content creating. Like you do have like that. Not like say you don't have
reminds me
like
of
you got the
Markiplier.
you got the radio, the vocal,
thing.
like the you have that voice for like radio or like the just like just descriptive, should I say, like instructional, like doing what like especially doing what the video you want to do with
like
the Kerbal.
Like,
yeah. That's why I think doing that Kerbal, like the project with the Kerbal, like that's going to be so I feel like so perfect. Because you've got like the description, like it's so good.
That is why a fair few of our common friends have been pushing very hard for me to go on that side.
Yeah, because it'd be perfect straight up that alley. Like it's
I was not like I'll be 100% honest. The Kerbal 101 was not my idea.
Yeah,
it did not come from me. It was a fair few of our common friends.
Yeah.
Went, well, you really have the voice for that, and you have the brain for that too, and
just it's just
you're actually good at sounding like you know what the fuck you're doing. So
I know. I mean, like you could almost tell anyone how to peel an orange, basically, and I think it would work as great content. You know what I mean? Like because of the it's just a weird thing. I know, just
orange.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people like that. Like you would watch a video because
okay, sorry. This has just given me some flashbacks here that are absolutely hilarious to me. I mean, you guys are probably aware of the Grand Tour / Top Gear trio. These three.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've seen in my feed not that long ago was James May posting several videos in a row of him trying to put peanut butter on a biscuit and the biscuit breaking. And that's the video. And he's done it like 7 times in a row now. And he just keeps doing it, but he's James May, so he gives no fucks and gets 1 million views.
Yeah.
Like
right. Because James May is James May. There's no other like
I
honestly watch him in the fucking bug out bunker just because I'll get bored. It's
like that's
May,
weirdly enough, like stuff like that is like that would be great if like me and Jim could do stuff like that. Like I would love to just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just I always wish this could be more. It's a lot to ask for, but like, I just want to have fun with Jim. Like, we are having fun. I just wish we could do more fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just, yeah.
The other thing, yeah.
I don't know.
I would say, yeah, there's a fair few other things I've been thinking of, but for me, like, I really thank you about that though, because the
Yeah.
idea of, because that's, making content is always about finding your strength and,
Yeah.
and
It's what you
knowing,
enjoy. Otherwise, people won't
knowing
enjoy
what you
it.
can make
That's
resonate
exactly
with
it.
other people.
And that's why I like doing this. Like, the podcast is
And-
one of the form of creativity that I like to do every week. Like we've always said in every episode, me and Jim always said we look forward to this because it's a fun little outlet. It's a bench.
Even
like,
days in advance.
Like, yeah, we get hyped for it. We would finish an episode. The next day, we're already hyped for the next weekend to come just to have another. We could literally record another episode if we wanted to, but we don't. Like, because it's once a week, but we look forward to that episode. Like,
I mean, the day will come where it's like a midweek potty. Just
that's it. It might get
like
more
like a
episodes. Who knows?
Wednesday,
Like,
Thursday, like
we might.
Tuesday.
That's it. We might end up having more episodes. We might make a season go from 50, like roughly 50 episodes a week.
We're not confined to one day a week. I said one day a year, one day a week. Like, because I do this live as well, like on Twitch. So I'm just always just
Yeah.
Like, this is what Jim's like on, yeah. And that's why we took that kind of side of things where, like what I do on Twitch, what he does on Twitch, let's combine the two together. Let's just talk, because we already talk a whole bunch of shit. Why not just record it? That's what it came down. It's like, why not just record it, put it out there for people to have a laugh, because some of the stupidest shit, I fumble on myself all the fucking time, and I don't give a fuck. Like someone's bound to find it funny. Like,
I don't either.
Like, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't really care. Like, it's just, yeah.
That's what makes it unique as well. Like,
I find everything to be entertaining.
I have some clips from live streams where I legitimately kind of sound like Gambit because I have to switch from English to French to back to English within a sentence, and my brain just fries itself.
It's just...
I've gotten pretty good at it, but because I do have the tags on my stream that I
that's why I commend people who do like multi-language streams. It was like
doing multi-language.
Yeah.
Doing one is hard enough.
Basically, had being able to, and on top of that, because I dual stream on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna have some people speaking English in my Twitch chat, and some people speaking French in my YouTube chat.
And be like, "What's going on here?"
And it can turn into chaos real fast. But
just like this.
So there's a fair few moments that I have.
We're the epitome of chaos, Jim. We are always chaos.
Yeah, I can tell you that there's a fair few moments
that
Raven.exe has stopped working is very much what applies here.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But that's why I say like with the podcast.
Yeah,
like
Daz does that. He just on the potty just.
Yeah. If you get to those few episodes where you'll actually see me fall asleep on the podcast, like I've literally fallen asleep on the podcast while we've been sitting here talking. I've been that tired. I'll just be sitting here like,
fucking hell, dude.
Oh no, it's fucking great. Someone clipped it somewhere.
I remember one time I was talking about games, and all of a sudden he's answering like when he's like, "Yeah, that's good."
I like literally asleep.
He doesn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. He's like, "What?
Holy shit!"
Oh, he was answering. Yeah, not knowing what he's fucking napping.
Holy shit! That means that Daz could basically be my therapist now. That's even better. I could save a lot of money from that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, weirdly enough, like that, I thought about maybe I should become a therapist, because weirdly speaking about that, it's funny enough, is you know that like when you get like really drunk and you have like drunk conversations, like so many times, like it would be like that. I'd be like people's therapist, because like I'd have a few drinks and be out with people get drunk, and just like this, like I think that's what kind of influenced the whole podcast thing mentally in my mind, like, or anything like talk, being in front of a camera. It's like, it's because you just talk with people, and like people open up, but like it's nice to just talk. I think that's part of the whole thing as well, is just to talk. But when you're drunk, because the filters start to go, you have some of the greatest conversations like in the world, and it's so relieving. But like sometimes people just need that.
Right.
Like they just need to feel.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I think that's kind of like where this resolves from, because it definitely did for me become this podcast did become like a vent spot, like because we do have usually a segment where we have the Dale's Rambles where I just let loose and just do like it's basically Peter Griffin's What Really Grinds My Gears, basically. Like it's literally that, and I get so worked up, and like it's just one of those things. Like yeah, it's but no, like that's why I think though coming back to that, it's like yeah, I just like the conversation, and that's why I like to try and get people on. Like it's just yeah.
Yeah, this is why I kind of miss being a bartender, to be honest.
Oh, the random combos at the.
Those days.
And that's why
those days were not.
Yeah.
Those days were not smooth.
Yeah.
No.
Just holy shit. No, having to kick people out of a bar is always an adventure.
And that's it. Like I've been there and I've seen that. Like it is entertaining to watch, but being next to it, and then yeah.
Right.
Oh, I remember.
My cousin does it for a living.
Guy.
Just kicks people out
There
of
is
bars
one
and clubs.
guy I will always remember. There is one guy, and I, like, to put it in context, I was 19 years old. All right, barely legal over here because illegal age is 18 where I live. Okay, so
that's the same as here. Yeah,
19 years old, and I'm already working in bars.
Yep,
that gives you an idea. And basically my job there, I was, making drinks and serving drinks, but I was kind of doubling up as security because I'm a hockey player and I'm a pretty big dude. So usually what would happen is, when we decide to close up the bar at like 3 a.m., which is what by law, the hour we're supposed to close here is 3 a.m.
Right.
So at like 2:45, usually we put up the lights, tell everybody, get your coats, time to get the fuck out.
Time to leave.
And then first thing you know, there's 3 old drunkards just almost sleeping on the bar that just don't want to fucking leave because they're off their faces and they've made you more money than the rest of the clientele combined. But they're off their face. And at one point, some of them are basically there from opening moment to closing moment. They just spend their life there because that's what they do.
They have nowhere else. Yeah.
One of those guys, I remember vividly. I had to do a double shift that day. So I had to open the bar. That day. At like 1 p.m.
Yep.
And I went all the way through to 3 a.m. nonstop. Okay? So I was fucking exhausted. And it was a really busy day. It was a Friday night, and that bar in particular was really close to a college. So a really kind of it was not an easy night. And at some point I was when I opened up the place, the guy was at the door waiting for me.
Just said open,
waiting to get in.
Open.
All right.
Jesus.
He was that eager to get in. I was like, what the fuck? And from probably just had his fucking unemployment check or something come in.
Yeah,
right.
It was itching in his pocket. So I remember that he was there when I opened up the place. I go to close up the place. The guy probably had a nap on the bar during the day at some point, and I didn't even notice because I was really busy. And I wasn't not the only person behind the bar.
Right.
And so the waitress I was working with basically goes, well, he's got to get out, and he doesn't want to. He's wide awake now, but clearly slept before.
No.
So he's got energy now, and he doesn't want to get the fuck out, and he's
right.
off his face drunk.
Yeah, still intoxicated,
he's a bit belligerent.
He's woken up and like, yeah.
Yeah. And
right.
So one thing that happens is, you know, when you're really drunk and you don't want to look drunk,
Yeah.
what most people do is that they find something around them that is not supposed to move. They look at something around them that is not supposed to move, like a piece of furniture. Okay? And they go, from my perspective, if that thing isn't moving, that means I'm not swaying. I don't look drunk. What if you could start redirecting their attention to and make the thing that shouldn't move a person? Now you can start having fun.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
So, as you can imagine, in Canadian pub in the winter, okay, the place is stuffy as hell because, you know, it's minus 1,000 outside.
Right.
And, well, let's just say that the waitress I was working with and it was of the bustier variety. So holding somebody's attention is not very hard for her.
No.
Oh, God.
Especially a drunk
And
person.
especially a very, very drunk person. And I was like, okay, look, I have an idea. I need you to work with me here. So she starts talking to the guy. And basically, the trick that we had was as soon as she would notice that he is fixating on her, she would start swaying like that.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And the thing is, usually when somebody does that,
Yep.
if you do that, he's gonna look for something else just to see if, okay, is she moving or is
Right.
my world moving?
Oh, yeah.
So now start imagining she starts doing that, and I'm behind the bar. I'm just cleaning up, but I'm keeping an eye on her. And as she starts swaying, I start swaying too, the same way. And I try to sync myself with her the best I can. We've kept that going for like 15 minutes.
Fucking hell.
And at that point, the guy just fell off his chair.
Yeah.
Because he had no sense of balance anymore.
It's it's so good. I've been there. Because you
all I
just
had
get so
to do
drunk.
at that point was just grab the guy, back of the shirt, back of the pants, open the door. You're out of here.
Right, like
That's
fucking hell.
I just
He
love it
couldn't
though when
resist anymore. He was gone.
Yeah. But no, I speak of that though. I love it when like that drunk state and just the whole mimic process is just great. Like, it's just so funny to watch people like mimic when they're drunk. Because you can do anything. Like you start swaying, like say, and they start swaying,
Right.
and then you can like for some reason like you start moving and stuff, and they start mimicking you, and they get like this weird mimic state. It's just fucking hilarious. Like people are that drunk that they just because their motor skills, like say, because they're trying to figure out what's going on, so they kind of like mimic just to like say because they're fixating, I guess, to like is it moving as or not. So they move with it to thinking, oh, it's
They need,
you know, it's
just
stable.
like with anything, like they need a reference point to see if to figure out if they're moving or not, because they can't feel it themselves.
So they figure, I guess, if that arm's raising up, I must raise up, so therefore I'm straight as well. Like because they, because the swayingness is kicking
It's not,
in. It's fucking
usually it's not that extreme unless that person is wasted.
Yeah, like it's pretty funny.
And
like,
even then, they can't even get up. So
it's
they will not leave their stool or something.
It is
that fucking
hilarious. It's hilarious, and I will always remember that.
Oh man, that's the time
Because my boss saw me do that. My boss saw us do that. I definitely wasn't alone in doing that. I was not the main point of attention on that team. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it's fucking
okay.
Great.
But my boss saw us do that, and as soon as the guy fell off his stool, just bent over laughing, couldn't just, to the point where my boss couldn't even help me kick the guy out. He was laughing too hard. I had to drag him out myself.
That's great though.
Because he was like, "This is the best shit I've seen all week. You've just made my week. Thanks, dude."
Oh, that's great. It always
Young
is though.
people are hilarious.
Oh, the shenanigans. Yeah, it's just. But
Yeah.
whew.
It's very easy to make a fool of yourself.
I kind of want to. I think Jim's eager to go through these games.
Yeah, you did have some notes.
He did have some.
So.
He had some games. We're getting for a bit through this.
They're not quite notes, but they're reference points.
I do want to know. I'm intrigued by this. Like I was saying, we could almost scrap it, but no, I am intrigued by Jim's reference points. I kind of want to know where Jim's going with this. Like I gave him a brief description. We're just talking about it, and he said, well, then why not bring him up on the podcast, and we'll talk about it. And I'm intrigued what point he
About
wants
what
to get
games
at here.
need to be remastered.
Like we've talked about some of these things before, like what
I
we
have
would like
specific
to see, but
cases for each, like either a remake or a remaster. But
yeah, because we
I do
vaguely
have a few.
we vaguely off our heads in the past in an episode have like mentioned
but we
like
weren't
some
very
remakes remastered. It wasn't all
in-depth with that, though.
no, but like I said, it was just pinpoints of games we just thought about at the time. We're like, oh, how about this? But like I said, now you've actually got
I have some
references.
reference points.
Yeah, you actually got references, which is kind of a nice fallback then. So yes,
but
I am.
I'm going to start with the older stuff up to the newer stuff. Like, not new, but the last. But I said to Raven about this. Like, it's on the friggin' Mega Drive. Like,
oh yeah, that's a classic Mega Drive.
Clay Fighter. Give us a.
Yes,
of that.
yes, Clay Fighter. Oh my god! Imagine today what you could do with that. Like, if you rebuilt
this is the only way to play it.
Chaos.
Like, he's on the old
Absolute chaos.
80s and
like
90s console.
that modern day version of that would be insane with what you can do now though. Like I mean, even just bringing that back would be one thing, but like imagine just remaking like a new version,
remaking this bad boy.
Just make Clay Fighter 2
Yeah,
or
that
something, you know, like
It would probably need a full remake treatment or a sequel.
You could not just remaster that. You need
No,
a full
but
remake.
it would be-
the environment.
That would need a lot more than just a.
Be
But
very
the cool
interesting.
part is, it'll be more Clay-like with a remake as well. Like, like Wallace and Gromit level.
like
of
stop motion style,
Clay
like you could an animated stop
Well,
motion.
That's what this was.
Yeah,
kind of.
but like the way stop motion is nowadays, like it's a lot nicer too.
Yeah, because you can actually. You don't have because you wouldn't have to do that.
Sega,
you wouldn't have to
own the
spread
IP.
it frame by frame.
Yeah.
Sega own the IP. Bring the fucker back.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because that's a really like talked about title too.
Yeah, because everyone loves it. Whoever played it loves it.
Yeah,
it's stuck on the fucking Genesis and Mega Drive. Like,
what else you get?
Then these are three bangers that I've played. 4 bangers I played a long time ago, but
Bangers?
More Soldiers on the PS1.
Yes.
Give us.
Well, not just that, not just the game though. Not just the game. The IP itself is just sitting there. Like no one, we've
I don't
talked
know who
about
owns
it.
the IP anymore. Like, is it Universal?
They're not doing shit.
Because me and Jim have talked about it. Like it came up to like the 25th anniversary.
This was
or whatever
fucking
it was.
DreamWorks. Like,
And like there was opportunities they could have done something for a 25th anniversary.
EA
and there was
did this.
nothing. Like
Electronic Arts, right there.
Like no one's doing anything with that IP. Like it's very weird. Like
This game is fantastic. The multiplayer for the time was fantastic.
I think that
but
IP in general, they need to do
PS1.
something with that, whether it's another movie
Right.
or franchising or something.
The next one is Micromaniacs.
Mm-hmm.
Give us, come on, Codemasters, something. Give us, even a remaster of this would do.
Something like that would be great. Any of those type of games. And this, I feel like in this day and age, those games would be a substantial game because we've had, what was the other one? We've had, it's like another game that was like that. It was a runner game. It was a co-op. It's similar. I can't remember the name of it now.
I can't remember it.
But you know which one we're kind of vaguely talking about.
Yeah.
It came out a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Similar vein, but not the same. Like it's... We've had games come out that are like that, but we need that. Like, imagine
The
those
next one's a no-brainer as well. Hercules.
I don't do me dirty like this.
Like-
Holy shit.
Like, that's on PC. You can play it, but it's janky as
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's on
that-
Steam
that
and
pack-
GOG, but it's janky as hell.
That fucking pack they keep making with all those Disney games. Do one of those.
Yeah, with
They
Emperor's New
cleaned them up.
Groove and Tarzan.
Yeah, like Lion King and all that. They cleaned them up.
A Bug's Life. I was gonna that game's just hard in general. It
Hell,
wouldn't age well.
I'd be curious to see, like, if you're talking about freaking Disney IPs like
A
that.
full modern
I-
version
I-
of Hercules.
Well, I'm pretty
I-
sure that's going to come on the PS5 and 4 because Disney put a lot of stuff on that classics thing,
Yeah.
and that's in line. That and all the other
I
Tarzan,
would-
Monsters Inc.
I would
other
actually
stuff.
be very, very curious to see
Mm.
what a good modern day studio would be able to pull if they had the assignment to
Look, that will cost maybe
slash
20,
remaster
30
or
bucks.
remake. Yeah,
So
but
it's not a
instead of
long game.
virtually-
It's
Imagine
not
if
a big
they-
game.
Imagine if they rebuilt that game in the aspect of turning it from a platform and maybe making it 3D, but keeping to the same premise.
No, keep it a platform. Like keep it a 2D.
I think it would have to stay a platformer.
Platform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
What about?
No, yeah,
Would you keep it 2D still, or would you also go
yeah.
that?
Just keep it the way it
that-
is. Just make it 4K.
What's the other
like,
version of 2D? That
proper
2.5D.
controls.
It's a
No,
2.5D.
'cause there
but
are
it's
no.
still-
There is no. Oh, there is up and down, isn't there? There is that
Yeah.
in the certain
And-
levels you can go up.
What I-
and
Yeah,
then go
yeah,
across
and
down.
add more bit more depth to it because a lot of
Yeah.
it's just all flat 2D space.
I mean,
Would
just-
like
Yeah,
like
just-
Prince of
So
Persia,
2.5D.
like
yeah.
Prince of Persia, say like that style of
Yeah,
graphics,
Make
but
it like that.
yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Yeah.
And to round off the PS1, Crash Bash, like this has to come back
Oh.
at some fucking point.
Crash Bash is
Like
classic amongst classics.
this has to come back, even though this was not made by Naughty Dog.
That's the thought. That's what we thought we were going to
Somebody
get
else.
with that bloody Crash
know,
Rumble game,
it
and we got
was.
the most stupidest arena battle game.
That's why I thought like that Crash Team Rumble or fuck was going to be like this.
Oh,
Complete
no, I was
horse
not a fan
shit.
of that.
I bought it twice. We bought it. Me and my partner bought a copy, one for PlayStation, one for Xbox,
I
so
still
we could play
haven't
with
bought
each
it
other.
yet because it's still fucking expensive.
It's just shite. Complete horseshit. Like you
Yeah, actually,
literally
on to
don't. Move on.
the
I'm
PS.
just gonna-
Fuck!
We're gonna end up
Please,
going with
Year to
the
the damn things. The PS2, which these games are no brainers. Like EA will make a lot of money. Black.
Oh, you know they were supposed to make a Black 2 at one point.
Yeah, supposed
thing-
to.
okay,
Where the
the
fuck
thing-
is it?
The thing with Black, though,
This game is
at
phenomenal.
least what made Black for me, though, was the sound engineering that they did with that.
Oh, and the fucking
Basically,
physics.
The physics and the sounds. Basically, I yearn for the day that I play a game, a proper shooter, where the shotgun sounds like Zeus just dropped lightning on you.
Yeah, not just a
Like, just...
right, like a proper bang, like you've
There
dropped
are-
something on a fucking wooden floor. Like,
the
give us a
s-
boom.
The closest thing I've had to that, as of late, in a shooter, I would argue, because like one of the games that I would argue I would have loved to have seen kind of remade slash rebuilt, and then we finally got a sequel, was Stalker.
Yeah, Stalker.
And the decent amount of the shotgun sounds in Stalker are, mwah.
Yeah. Right.
They have some proper kick to them, but I agree with that.
That and the
I fully
Metro
agree with
games,
that.
because they're pretty much the same thing.
Hmm.
Like, them Metro games are the same. Like, them shotguns have
it's-
some oomph.
A lot of it's basically when it comes to Metro and Stalker, basically when the original trilogy of the Stalker games was finished, team kind of split. So
And went to whatever.
about half of the guys went to
remember the name of
to
them, but
4A to make Metro,
Yeah, 4A.
and then the other half stayed at GSC and started working on Stalker 2, and then that kind of got canned, and then they were able to come back, and then
Well,
the war
let's-
started.
We could call this like Stalker 3 or 4 at this point, because they started 2 way back in the day. It just
They
kept
started
changing.
to not
Yeah.
as soon as Call of Pripyat released, they started
Mm.
work on 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they ran out of funds, had to shut down the whole studio, where half of the people just went over and started working on Metro.
Yep. Which then took off
And then
And we got Metro in the
yeah,
next
which took off.
20 fucking years. And then we got Stalker 2 again.
But still. And then yeah, they were able to actually reassemble a bunch of that team and start making Stalker 2 again as soon as they were able to secure funding. And
Right.
then halfway through, the friggin' war came and they had to run away, and a bunch of them had to fight the war. And
All right. and then
That
do the game
that
again.
was yeah.
Like I have to
But
commend them devs like for all they had to fucking go through to
that
still
is
release
some
that game,
serious. That is some serious fucking dedication.
right? Like I'm yet to pick it up, but I am keen to
Yeah.
jump into it.
And well, I've played the original ones a lot, and I mean a lot. I'm still waiting to pick up two a little, mostly because those games, like the stalker games in general, are notoriously unstable.
Yeah, well, two
Um,
is like that. Two is
Yeah, I got them on.
very
I think I have them on Steam.
unstable.
so
Mm.
I've decided, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give you some time to work out the kinks, and then I'll get in there.
Yeah.
But you were talking about games that you'd like to see remakes slash remasters of, and you were in the PS1 era, and I have a few that come to mind as well.
Yeah.
Um, for anybody who's been following a little bit of my content, the Breath of Fire 3 and 4 are just
Oh, yep. Yeah.
those games need some love.
Yeah.
Right.
Sadly, like Breath of Fire 5 and 6 technically exist, but they're really bad and microtransaction laden mobile piece
Oh,
of shit.
no.
So I'd rather kind of
Yeah, no.
take for granted that they don't exist, scrap them from canon, make
Yeah.
a proper Breath of Fire 5, because
That'll
4
never
was the
happen,
last
no.
good one. A
It might
man can
happen one
hope,
day.
all right? It's not gonna happen
Yeah,
as long as Capcom owns that IP. But
Oh no.
That's the hard part.
which is kind of sad because Capcom has been putting out a lot of bangers.
Then again, they did bring back
with
fucking
that IP in
Dragon's
particular,
Dogma,
they
so-
have fucking ruined it. And I would say, other than that, I am hoping that the rumors about Final Fantasy Tactics are real.
I'm pretty sure that's real
Because
because people have been saying that for a
I
while now. Like
want-
it's
I want
real,
a remake
but-
and or a sequel of that real bad
Right.
because it's so damn good.
And there was one that I thought of, but I don't have it. Was Hogs of War. That game was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Ah,
I
It's on
enjoy that a
Steam
lot.
and GOG, or it runs terribly. The PS1 games on PC run like trash.
A lot of them
It's
were
more
really
the control
badly ported.
schemes, or they don't open. Like,
The controls, because like the PS1 era was really when we started seeing a pretty solid transformation when it comes to
like
standard
the
control
dual, like
schemes.
the dual sticks, yeah.
The dual sticks, like we didn't have joysticks on controllers before that, and
No.
because
Well,
of
they
that,
did. They
control
had the
schemes
massive
hadn't.
ones, the big stick things, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
an
but
actual
if
joystick.
you had a fucking Atari, maybe, but other than
yeah,
that,
right.
but it was mostly now
It's a
suddenly
D-pad
having
and
a
a couple
scheme.
buttons, like
Yeah, it was D-pad 4 button, maybe 6 if you had the shoulder ones
yeah,
for like the SNES, but other than that, like not really.
yep.
So just because suddenly they had a lot more buttons to work with and some analog controls as well, a lot of that shit they had to kind of figure out. And the early PS1 era is when they figured it out. Is
It
when they
works
had to figure
very
it out.
fucking well. Which
Because even like on a freaking PlayStation controller, if you play an old PS1 racing game, let's say I don't know the original Gran
fucking
Turismo,
D-pad moving, like
you could
supposed
actually
to-
steer with the analog stick, but
mm,
on a controller, on a freaking PlayStation controller, your accelerator was the X button. It was
yeah, I
not
know,
a trigger.
right? Like X.
Jim,
It was on or off.
you do actually know they actually are doing a remaster of Hogs of War.
Wait, what?
It's called Hogs of War Lardcore. It was actually supposed to come out end of last year.
What?
Hardcore.
So
what a name.
so last month they said it was supposed to come out.
Holy shit.
So like
Let me look at this.
yeah, like it's most likely going to come out this year then.
I am so. Please be a physical. Like, come on.
They last
fucking-
posted on the 6th of December 24. it is once again time to poke those porky heads up over the parapets and come join us for the 4th devlog episode, premiering tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK. Let's see 2024 off in style. Pork-fired ham. Like,
Official PS4 and PS5 remaster.
Yeah.
So it's on PlayStation. Oh my god!
God damn.
Any Lardcore fans over on Blue Sky, you can find us through the link. What the fuck? What the fuck is all this shit?
Well then.
Yeah, like it's actually happening.
Okay, well then I am down for that.
So apparently
like,
they're going to make a.
I'm down.
Apparently they're going to make a sequel, but then they scrapped that and they're doing a remaster, but then renaming it
it's
because
the same
it's
devs.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's the same team. Fuck.
Like that's weird that you mentioned that. And I was like, I'm just going to Google that, and it's like that's crazy. Like that's so recent that that's actually a thing.
Tim Allen.
Like, ah.
Hang on.
Damn.
Hogs of War is getting an official remaster.
Yeah, because they're going to do a sequel.
What?
That can,
Hogs of War. But it's got...
Yeah.
Tim Allen, Tom Arnold, John Travolta, Martin Lawrence.
That's a movie.
Yeah, they said Hogs of War is getting. It's got the Hogs of War PS1 game with Tim Allen, Tom Arnold.
Wild
Fucking
Hogs.
I walked
That's
in there,
Wild
man.
Hogs. That's not Hogs of War. That's Wild Hogs.
Yeah, the thing. Hey, that's fucking Reddit for you.
But yeah, no, like they had a whole website and
But yeah,
everything.
like Hardcore Hogs of War. Okay, I'm Hogs of War reheated. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Or they
Well then.
yeah.
I'm down. Like I will
Single
play
player
the shit out of
campaign,
that.
local multiplayer, and okay, so they've worked on the single player campaign so far. Local multiplayer is done, but it says online multiplayer is locked still. So this is on their website. So they're
That
I
wouldn't
guess.
take them long because if the locals there, the online wouldn't be much.
Oh,
fucking
so
difficult either.
it'll have a multi-platform release, 8-player
Nice.
teams, 8 playable teams. Oh, 8 playable
Eight
teams.
Dang, I think that's same as before.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm keep your eye on for that.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
God. I mean, we
I
have
remember
that.
smashing that game as a kid,
That
like-
happens a lot though. There's like things that are going on that we don't like kind of lose track of, and then we'll like happen to mention
the
it. and it's
internet's
just like-
massive, right? Like,
Yeah.
god dang.
Yeah. And I don't keep up with the news all that
I
much.
That's
can't
so
keep
much.
track of every fucking game. Like, it's impossible.
No, it's impossible.
But it's just
Like,
funny.
Black
like-
might be coming back at some point. We don't fucking know. I'm just saying it because it needs to. But it could be because EA a shooter thing.
that
most
is
likely,
cool.
so
That's
that's
dope.
one of their best IPs. But the next one is Killzone. Like, for the love of fucking God, bring Killzone back. Please give us the first one remade.
Yeah, yeah, if it's the original one and not a sequel.
Look, I want the original trilogy playable on current gen because the last one is on PS4. Give us the
Fair
entire
enough.
trilogy to go with that. Like,
look,
it just needs a
wasn't-
remaster, really. Like,
wasn't
this game
3
holds
a
up
bit of
well.
a shit show, though?
3 was weird. 4 was a shit show.
Fair enough.
Shadowfall.
what-
It's not a
I
shit
was
show.
probably getting-
It's different
probably
than
getting
what the other
confused with
3
4.
was. Yeah. But Guerrilla have moved on from this to Horizon, so we might see
Yeah.
it from another studio. Who knows? The next one is ran by Jet Li as the main character, but Rise to Honor. That game is fucking fantastic.
Never played it.
Oh
It-
yeah,
it is
No idea.
amazing.
movie game.
You use the right stick. You freaking slap the right stick, and he does combos like punch and kick and grabs them. It's combo based with the right stick as your attack. It's fucking interesting.
I mean,
I've never played
it's-
too much, but like my friend had it, and he was just playing it all the damn time. I played it a little bit, a couple of levels or so, but I think Sony still own the IP because it's made and published by them, so like makes sense. Also,
potentially.
even just on the because it's PS2, put it on the classics on the current gen. Just upscale it
Yeah.
a bit, change the
Yeah,
controls
just
a
a
little
code-
bit.
Just give it a coat of paint and
Yeah, because it still plays well. Like I've played it recently, it still holds up. Look at this, 2004? Only
Yeah.
20 years ago, 21 years ago. The next
Seems
one
legit.
is it's a crime we didn't get to finish the trilogy, but The Getaway. Like, please bring us a sequel.
I have never played The Getaway. I
Yeah,
cannot.
just think of GTA-esque, but in London.
All right.
Like, these games are fantastic. Bring them back. The controls are fucking dog shit. I tried playing recently and they don't hold up. Like, but these games are amazing. They are not kid friendly, of course. Like, they are 18 plus and stuff, but it's fine. And another one from the same era, I don't know, but it's Activision when they were doing good things. But True Crime. Can we get
I
some more
remember
True Crime?
those.
Yeah.
I remember
they're
those.
fucking good. You play as a cop and
Yeah.
it's interesting. I don't know the plot completely or any because I played them a long time ago. But the Getaway and True Crime are just the classics that they need to come back. For the love of God. Then we had the original Xbox, which I've got some there that
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, you played Sleeping Dogs, haven't you? That was
yeah.
spiritual
Yeah,
successor.
that's like to the True Crime, right? Yeah.
So a little fact on that. That was the so it had that had started developing in 2009 and was originally the third title in the series, but then it was
Yeah.
cancelled by Activision. Activision
Yeah.
fucking everything up like always,
Of course.
and then was of course picked up by Square Enix.
Because I'm pretty sure these didn't sell well, but they're fucking fantastic games.
They were great games. They were honestly some really good games. It kind of felt those games kind of felt like in the vein of like I feel like a game that would have been made by like Rockstar almost.
Yeah, well, just think
Like-
it's GTA, but you're a cop, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going around catching criminals and
Yeah,
stuff like
like
that,
I feel like if Rockstar had them, they would definitely be better.
yeah. right?
They'd feel more in their alley.
I know you resonate with some of these ones, Daz. These Xbox
Mhm.
ones, of course. Pariah.
Yeah, Pariah was so good.
Oh
Pariah,
man, now that's a
Who
throwback.
had that?
Pariah.
Like I don't know.
Well, that if they
That's
Pariah,
like
I don't know if you had it,
self-published.
but
kind
yeah,
of thing.
Pariah was good. If they there's a lot
Pariah,
of like sci-fi
it's janky to
titles.
play. The controls are fucky, and
Yeah.
but the gameplay and story are good.
I know. I gotta.
Like,
There's a
come on,
lot
where
of
is
them.
it?
I thought they could. I mean, we're in that territory
Jade
where it's
Empire?
Jade Empire. Yep.
Like, I mean, it's on Steam. You can play it reasonably smooth. Like, I think they updated the controls. I think to modernize it.
Mm.
But that game is fantastic. It's an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's made by fucking BioWare, so it would have to be an
What's there
RPG.
something about that, Reese? Oh, what's that thing about this?
That is not getting remade. It's definitely not.
What was I looking at?
The next one is Death Row, a sports game from Ubisoft, which is fucking amazing.
I know, like you.
All we got was one game, and that was it.
I am
Like-
very confused. I've never played that, so I can't.
Oh,
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to
It's a
look at
team
that
of
one.
3 to 5 people, and you bash them up. You can kill the other team and stuff. Like, it's
Oh.
fucking insane. Ubisoft. Sports
Somehow.
game. Fantastic.
Sports Arena.
It's just a crime that I stuck on the OG Xbox. It's not even back compat on the 360 Xbox.
It was just
Series.
that's right. It was just an
Nothing.
arena like battle. You just fight in an arena like death
Yeah,
screen kind of thing.
and you chuck a ball through a hoop. Like it's a team deathmatch sports
Which,
game.
which in a
It's
sense,
fantastic.
which is kind of funny if you think about that. If you grab that concept, right, Jim, listen here. You dumb that down with the violence. Give them some rollerblades. What have you got?
Roller champions.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was fun too. Like we haven't played it, but
We haven't played for a
because the
while.
servers were being weird. But
Yeah. So I mean, they tried, but I mean, I feel like they
I might
they
play it again because it was fun. Like Roller Champions was fun.
because you could tackle and like
I've
knock.
never- I've never played Roller Champions, but you described that, and the only thing I could think of is the Rollerball movie from 1990 something.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Right?
you're just an open ring. It's a circle
just
track.
open-
And you can literally
And you've
tackle
got
other
a
opponents
hoop in
and
the
bash
top.
them and stuff. So you can bash them,
and
steal
you
the
just
ball,
yeet the fucking ball in there.
and as you're racing by, there's the goal, and you can throw it or skeet up next to it and dunk it in, and just
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
That's not too far away.
But Kung Fu Chaos. This is a crime that's never come back. Who
I
even
know.
made that again? It was
No.
It wasn't Rare, was it? No.
Kung Fu Chaos. So I'm like on my phone, like googling
I
it.
know it's Microsoft, but I don't know the devs aren't
Just
add
that monsters. Yeah, just that.
Yeah, down
monsters.
there. But this game was party fun, like four players co-op. It's not co-op, but it's 4-player party, just like Mario Party kind of thing. But you killed each other with weird characters and weapons. It's like a stage fight. Like
Jim,
you had an announcer and stuff.
Jim,
Oh no.
Jim, did we go through this last time with the Kung Fu Chaos?
Why?
That it's Ninja Theory?
Oh, Ninja Theory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory made that.
Owned by Microsoft still. Now,
Yeah.
Come on.
Because yeah,
There's money in this.
The notable games by them is Kung Fu Chaos, which is a notable game. They've literally said it's Kung Fu Chaos, Heavenly Sword, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, DMC's Devil May Cry, and then Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and Hellblade 2.
Yeah, which
they are the notable games. Yeah. Because Enslaved is fucking beautiful story.
Nightcaster. Apparently the game's fucking amazing. I haven't played it yet, but there's nothing but good things about it. I don't know even know. It just says Microsoft. Yeah, just says Microsoft. I don't know what it is, but it's interesting. This one's a crime because if we had this today, it would go ahead. We've kind of already got it with like Armored Core and stuff, but Mech Assault. Plays giant mechs, killing.
Yeah.
I don't
there is
know exactly what it is, but you play as giant mechs.
I would say the closest thing we have to that now would be MechWarrior 5.
Yeah, unless MechWarrior is like a successor to Mech Assault games.
It is. It kind of is. It became kind of a successor to it.
Because for the time, these things were fantastic.
It's not that far off. And other than that, there's also. Armored Core also exists and is definitely that. And there's a few other things.
Oh wow! Okay, sorry.
That are kind of. We're getting our dose of mech-based things as of late. And I'm very happy about that.
Is still the best mech.
I love my giant robots.
Like Titanfall 2 story is fucking 10 out of 10.
Okay.
It is pretty great. I would argue that it's not in the same vein in terms of gameplay at all, but it's still very, very much.
Jim.
No, but you've still got giant mech
related.
Yeah.
Basically reading their wiki information here for Ninja Theory, they're basically the one that came up with the definition independent AAA. Was Ninja Theory.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, with Hellblade.
Yeah. They literally they basically keyed the first becoming independent AAA.
So then for the second they got acquired. So.
Yeah, so basically in the sense indie AAA, they were the first company to basically.
Because Hellblade came out in fucking nowhere.
Yeah, which I mean that's kind of cool to be innovative in that sense, to be a studio.
I wouldn't call them indie because like Odyssey is enslaved Odyssey to the West.
No, but they basically what it says is they basically keyed that model. They basically created that business model of being an indie AAA.
Yeah, which fucking started with Kung Fu Chaos.
But yeah, it was because the ride they went through, it was Senwa that basically created that real aspect. To that, which is good to see that we now have a broader spectrum of independent AAA titles. Like there is actually a whole lot there now, which is cool.
This next one is. I'm kind of sad.
I'm very, very kind of weary of anything that calls itself indie.
Well, I mean nowadays, I mean when it started it was good, but now like you've got like Epic, which is like because that's what kind of Fortnite's kind of like that. It's like we're Epic. Here's Fortnite. It's kind of like an indie AAA. Like like there's a lot of people doing that.
Like
indie is independent. They're not independent.
Yeah, no, just that. Like to me, exactly. Like indie AAA to me is a fucking oxymoron to begin with.
Yeah,
because. The term AAA to begin with, the origin
is to be acknowledged.
You're
existing, like you're.
No, not even that. Not even that.
Is about a budget.
The AAA notation, okay, comes from finance. It comes
Yeah,
from
the big
finance.
money
It's
you're
seeing
spending is how.
basically a AAA investment opportunity where
Yeah.
you will get the maximum return on an investment.
Right.
That means, to me, a AAA game is not made to be a game. It's made to be a money-making
yeah.
machine.
Which you can't be indie and AAA because
Yeah.
Which
But-
is the
but
very
is it-
opposite of a definition of
Yeah,
independent.
oxymoron. Yeah, it's an
because
oxymoron.
independent is they're self-funded, self-published. You get what you get.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I know it's interesting the
kind
aspect
of
of it.
weird.
But like that's
Kind
but
of
I know
kissing their own ass in that sense.
but that's what I mean. There is a lot of people, like I said, Epic themselves, which are
Yeah.
a company that can make games and develop games, and they were like, here's Fortnite, or we just kind of like we don't know what we're doing. We're independently releasing this. Like, you've been in the industry for like how many years? Like
30
you
years.
you have pushed out
Give or
like
take.
Gears and like a
Speaking
million
of
other
that-
big games. Like
Speaking
Yeah.
of that, Epic, where the fuck is Unreal Tournament 4?
yeah.
They won't do it.
You know, it's because their focus is on the fucking UE engine. So they're like, we're gonna focus on this
But I must
also.
say, UE5 is trash. It's real. Unreal Engine in general is trash.
It has its issues, for damn sure. And
It's very user. Oh, I say kind of user friendly, but
Yeah, which is a bad thing because everyone can just make stuff. Doesn't run well. It's not fucking optimized. Look at all recent UE5 games on Series X, PS5, even PC. The games don't run well. They're very unoptimized.
that's a lot of on people. That's a lot of that is on user. Well, not user. It's more developer error. These people, because it is a lot of people just be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a game. Let's put these things and without really knowing how to optimize.
That's
It's just
most developers. 90% of developers who use Unreal Engine 5, the games run bad.
because that was a big thing for me, like making games back in the day. You had to
They
make
try
sure.
like
It's
well, it's not just that.
there's
It's
a name for it, but I forgot what it was.
the way I see it basically is that UE5 is kind of the big dog when it comes to game engines right now. It's kind of the big popular most common engine out there.
yeah.
And because of that,
Because it's easy to
And
use.
they're trying to push that more so. They want their engine to be the main engine that everyone
Yeah.
uses. So they're trying to make it all these
and
friendly.
because of that, more often than not, that just means that the devs kind of go to that by default because it's one of the most well documented engines out there. But the problem is they just, when a developer decides that they're going to be using UE5 without even knowing what the game is going to be, more often than not, if
Because you
if
do.
you try
Yeah.
if you try to
But
drive
even
a screw
EA
with a
uses
hammer,
Unreal Engine 5 and the games are fucking
if you try to drive a screw with a hammer, it's still gonna go in.
'Cause that's
that
it,
doesn't
like,
mean
when
it's
you-
gonna stay in the same way it should be.
Yeah, because
know?
like someone that's made because I've made games, like you can literally make a game in any engine, but it doesn't mean it's It's going to be the right. Like sometimes you got to
Oh.
specify the engine for the game you are making. Like you need to specifically
No, not-
choose wisely. Like
I would argue that it's not sometimes. I would argue that it's all the time.
Yeah.
Every single
because that's
game.
something. Because like I said, you can make. Like,
You
I can
should
make any
always
game.
define what your game should be first,
But,
and
yeah.
then you choose
Right.
your engine.
With
Yeah.
what the needs, because like I can make a platformer in any of the engines, like easy enough to do.
Yeah.
But how it's optimized or how you can do certain things, like it variates. Like,
Are you gonna, like, even nowadays, like, if you just think about it for a second, even not that long ago, back when Unity wasn't a shit show,
Mm.
well, when Unity
It's always
engine
been a shit show.
itself wasn't a shit show, and it was free, first thing you
Yeah,
know,
well,
we
yeah.
had, like, all the asset flips in the fucking world
Mm-hmm.
from that, because it was the most accessible of them all, but people were not even remotely caring if it was the right engine for the game they were trying to make. Would you even try to make a platformer in Unity?
No.
Just shoot yourself at that point. It's not going to work.
That's yeah. I mean, you can, but it's just not going to work. Like it's yeah. Like,
It's going to be an absolute nightmare to make.
Because engines are based upon certain criteria, right? Like you can't make a racing game in Unreal Engine 5.
I
It
mean,
just wouldn't work.
you can. It's
You
just
can, but it's going to be rough.
it's how you
Like
do
look
it.
at Polyphony Digital. Their home baked, their custom engine is the best for racing.
But that's what Unreal Engine they're trying to get with it. That's why they've been making and showing these things. Like they got
Yeah.
gamed with, like they had that tech demo where it was the advertisement for, I can't remember what car it was, but you could drive the car like that. They're showing you that you can drive, but there's a degree of like there's driving a car over terrain, which is one aspect of like that's fine. Like anyone can build a game with you driving a car over shit.
Yeah.
But when you're racing
What
cars,
level of detail
Yeah.
Multiple
you're going
cars.
for that? Yeah.
like when you actually got cars moving at a faster pace, then
Plus
it
you've got
becomes a weird
terrain,
element.
plus you've
Yeah.
got signage, plus you've got crowds.
That starts
and
becoming
there's
a
a lot of
different
shit they have to
aspect,
try
yeah.
and do. Unreal
So-
Engine is not that fucking engine.
But I mean, they use Unreal Engine for everything. Like it's used in movies and TV shows.
Mm.
Like it's used. It's a
Yeah.
broad spectrum.
It's been used for pre-render CGI for a bunch of movies.
Like,
It's
it's
been
crazy.
used for quite a lot of stuff outside of the gaming industry, which is making them money hand over fist.
Which I think that's where half the
Um,
is that they focus towards that as well, and then that can be a problem too because they're
Yeah.
trying to make it so diversive, user friendly but diversive. Like it just becomes this whole trying to please do everything at once kind of thing, and it's just
Yeah.
like it just
Yep.
yeah.
Which
they're not. I mean, which
I
is
just wish PlayStation not handed out
financially,
their
it's-
engines, but
Yeah.
gave devs their engines like other devs because
That's I feel like a
their
rabbit hole
games
for
run
another day.
flawlessly.
That's a rabbit hole we can
But,
dive.
Yeah, I keep dealing with this. Darkwatch, man.
Yes, Darkwatch was another
Remember
good one.
when High Moon Studios?
Oh
Now
fuck!
they're Call of Duty support.
I know because High
Yeah.
Moon did like Transformer and like a bunch of other shooters.
Yeah.
Like really diverse
Transformers.
shooters.
But Ubisoft and High Moon.
Yeah.
Like, who would have...
Yeah, but Ubisoft was just a publisher for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ubisoft, though, that probably is their IP, really.
Yeah,
They
I
probably just
mean,
got them to
cons-
make it because they were probably
considering how
freelance at that time.
considering how fucking egregious Ubisoft's publishing contracts are, yes, they probably own the IP. Which is
But, like,
Mm.
that
very
game,
unfortunate
it
because if
needs
they decide to
something.
remake it, it's gonna
No,
be shit.
Jim, actually correct you there. Depending on the version, so it was published by Capcom in the US, but by Ubisoft in Europe and Australia.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that before, didn't we? One day.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
Because the same thing happened with Oblivion. Remember, Ubisoft
Yep.
published Oblivion here, I think?
No. I mean, if they did for you, I'd be extremely surprised because
Let me check.
I am pretty sure Ubisoft and Bethesda never played well together.
Yeah, so that's an interesting.
Plus,
factor.
ZeniMax had their whole publishing arc by
Yeah,
themselves
don't wanna get
already
too
at
segued
that
any
point.
further, but we'll keep going to this. We're going for a long episode. Yes.
It seems like it. We've been going for 2.5
That's why I'm
hours
like,
already.
no, I don't want to get too dragged away going down rabbit holes because we can easily get sent down rabbit holes. Like, I mean, that's what the podcast is about. But some rabbit holes are left for another day. So
From what I've looked at already, I'm pretty damn sure Bethesda self-publish the whole thing everywhere for when it comes to Oblivion, because they already had.
yes,
They're already publishing for other people at that point.
there was something
so-
they did. There was someone they partnered with. I think it was just for Australia. I think it was.
Maybe.
I found it. It wasn't Ubisoft. It was 2K.
Yeah.
It was 2K did Oblivion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2K.
Like, what? I was like,
Yeah,
Ubisoft?
because-
No. 2 fucking K.
Yeah.
But that is being
Which-
remade, so I didn't bring it on the list. So.
Which, speaking of 2K, I am still. Now, that's another rabbit hole altogether, so I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't step in that.
We
Um,
good. Make note. Which rabbit hole is this one? Which one was this rabbit hole? Make note, Jim. Make note of the rabbit
What rabbit hole
holes.
was it?
Make note of the
I
rabbit
was
holes.
I was about to talk about. I was about
Put in
to,
rabbit
to talk
holes?
about. We were talking about game engines and things, and 2K.
So make
Well,
note of that. We can
absolutely.
have that as a staple pinpoint to come back to, because we will.
Publishers.
Because we'll clearly be having Raven back on another.
Yeah, that's,
Rabbit hole publishers.
Yep.
That'd be interesting.
Because I mean, these are great.
That's
Like
obvious.
these are, yeah.
I'll just whip through these.
But keep going.
But
we don't
onto
have...
the GameCube. Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
Yes.
They need
Absolute
to be played
masterpieces.
on the next thing, Switch 2, whatever. They're stuck on the
Absolute
GameCube,
fucking masterpieces. Yep.
which is why I was happy because like you get the Wind Waker right, and then you get Ocarina of Time, like
Yep.
which weird. But you can
Fantastic.
also buy them on 3DS. So.
In the GameCube, I would also very much like a way to like have F-Zero GX with a new coat of paint.
Right,
No
like,
need
give
to
it a-
like
give it a
rebuild the whole thing. I
remaster.
just need it to
Up the,
upscale the
res and
resolution,
controls.
retexture it, just give it a coat of paint.
Yeah.
Because
But
what was the
that
last?
game
What was the
just
last
so
one they
damn
released?
fun.
What was the last one they released on the Switch? Was that similar? It was a similar style, ish.
Oh, Echoes of Wisdom. What the fuck it's called.
Yeah, because I mean they could. That's what I mean. Because they are similar model that they've done.
But speaking of Zelda Twilight Princess, can that come to the Switch?
Mm.
The other ones around the Wii have, like Skyward Sword's on the Switch. The
Yeah.
other ones on the Wii on the Switch.
And they
but
and
not
they,
this
they
one.
they definitely love re-releasing games and milking it. Like
That's all Nintendo does. Is
I'm,
re-release old
I'm
games.
surprised
Like,
they haven't. Like I'm surprised they haven't.
and this is perfect for the Switch because of the gyro stuff is better now. But the marble game, I don't want to butcher that fucking
Oh
name.
yeah,
But
Kuro.
But you just tilt the Wiimote and you like play marbles,
Yeah.
go around obstacles, and this shit is
I
fantastic.
know. Why don't know how
Dad
to
wanted a
do
Wii just to play this.
that? Oh, that's great. That's such a great title.
Like I will stream it one day because like this game I would have fun playing it for fucking hours. The next one's moving to the 360, Legendary. Well, that's on PS3 as well, but can that come back in some form? Like a better version? I don't know who even did that. Spark, and I think that's a self-published. Like a
Potentially.
because there's no one big on the thing. So just I know Atari. Atari
Yeah,
did
it's
that.
Atari.
Like, fuck.
Atari still publishes.
Yeah.
So.
This one's a big one, but without Akira Toriyama, probably not now, unless they just did a remake and kept it the exact same. But Blue Dragon. Like,
Yeah.
can we get a remaster of this? You don't need to be remade. Just bump up the textures to 4K, 1440, whatever.
Yeah.
Jim, sorry for another second there. Did you know that Marble game had a sequel?
What did?
That
The
Marble,
Marble
game.
game.
Well, this
That you
fucking
couldn't
Korora
pronounce.
Pana.
Yeah,
thing.
it had the sequel called Marble Saga Korinta
On what?
on the Wii.
Fuck the Wii.
No, but I'm saying they made they made a sequel, so
Yeah, but Hudson did it.
yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
Man.
Yeah, but Blue Dragon, like, and at least bring the discount down. Like, fuck me dead. 4 discs. But it's pretty much like Dragon Ball, but because Akira Toriyama had done the art style for this, and I think the story maybe as well. I'm unsure about that. And then we got Ubisoft at probably their peak as well, with 2 Naruto games, which it is a crime they were locked on the 360 still. But they pretty much told, I don't know about the second one, but they tell the first few seasons of Naruto in the first one, and then I think more in the second one. I don't know. I know nothing about Naruto. Nothing.
Naruto. Why you bring up Naruto for? What?
They need to be
No, they don't. I'll maybe port it over, but that's about it.
remastered.
They're
Yeah,
fine the
just-
way they are. Like just port them.
Technically, they need to
basically
remake the way that
Coat of paint upscale.
That's all. That's all it needs.
No,
Yeah, those
need a
games are
remake.
really.
in the vein of how Kakarot is. Like, give us a Kakarot-esque
Yeah.
Naruto game. It'd be amazing.
And that's
good.
been
Then-
more specific. Yeah.
For
I
PS3,
really,
Overlord, because these games need
Oh,
to come
that-
back.
that is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Seriously, that game
Overlord's-
is fucking.
Just give us-
I
And
love
again-
Overlord.
Just give us. Could you imagine?
Codemasters!
Just give us a third game. Like, could you imagine
Right,
the
just give us
sequels in the
something.
day and age? Like, that'd be so fun.
Overlord.
Same as this,
3
though,
would be
the Darkness.
amazing.
Give us a
Yeah.
third Darkness. Probably wouldn't have to. It probably won't because people are too sensitive these days. But come on, 2K, you still got this fucking IP.
Yeah.
This is a big one. Atari, if you ever The fucking Reddit games. They came from Butcher Bay and
Yeah, because
Dark
there's
Athena.
space between the movie as canon.
These are stuck on this old hardware. Can you please just do something? Like, these
There
games are
was
fucking fantastic.
supposed to be something.
Yeah, something, but
I'm not sure at all.
There was.
but I want something.
What the
Twisted
fuck
Metal. I hope that comes back. But can we please get a?
Yeah.
I want to.
With that series that came out, that TV show that came out for Twisted Metal not that long ago, I'm still very much hoping they're working on something new there. What in the fuck?
What in the blue fucking hell is that?
I was looking up information on it, and that was someone's thumbnail. You kept googly eyed, like.
That's fucking horrendous.
I'm like, what the
Those are not, dude.
I'm
Those
pretty
are
sure
not
this is
googly
already
eyes.
happening.
Those look like flashlights.
right? The flash eyes.
I'm pretty sure there's a sequel coming, not a remake, remaster, but SOCOM.
Yeah.
SOCOM. We need more SOCOM. This is the last one, I think. Special
Wow.
Forces.
I haven't. Yeah, last time I played SOCOM was probably on PS1, maybe 2.
Yeah, like it need to come back because SOCOM is fantastic.
Yeah.
God of War, which I think that's already happening, but fuck it, we need them on modern hardware. All the damn God of War games. This is a big one. EA will never do it. I don't even know who even fucking developed these. I know it's EA, but Army of Two.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh,
They ended on that fucking third one, and
But it's
they had
fucking
set up more
EA.
things.
And EA is like a big fuck you to everything lately. They just do not want to do sequels to a lot of games, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, there's money in this because everyone fucking loved the trilogy.
No, the thing with EA is that they decided to fuck off with anything that's even remotely narrative, and all
Right,
they want
like-
to do is live service,
Battlefield.
microtransaction, laden
Because-
pieces of shit.
Yeah, because I was backing, I was following American McGee there for a while, and I was backing the production for
Mm.
the
new
Alice Madness 3 that they had all this work going on, and I backed it for a while there because like you'd unlock like as you progressed, which is cool because there's like content that was promised if they made the game and stuff, which never going to fruition. But they had
Right.
all this work, all this concept, like so much work done, basically, and they wanted to just basically go to EA so they could get them to get the rights back because
Fund it.
they were his, but like
And
to help
finish-
publish it again to finish it, but
Yeah.
they were like, "No, we're not interested," and just he was like,
No,
"Okay."
because EA must own the thing then.
Basically, yeah, it was a whole.
Yeah, they own the IP. Their publishing contracts basically gives.
But
them
technically, if they don't use
100%
that
of the rights
IP
to
in a certain
everything
time,
in
they lose it.
perpetuity. It's fucking disgusting.
It's just
So-
sad. Like,
Yeah, but that's
all
the
it
thing
was-
about IPs. If you don't use an IP in a certain amount of time, you lose the IP.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
they
do.
refused to fund it.
That's why movies pump out shitty movies just to
Like-
get the IP.
And that's the thing.
There's a big difference between an IP and a trademark.
Yeah, because
What you're saying
but
there is
IPs
about
aren't
trademarks.
Trademarked.
the problem is they refused
They
to
can
fund
lose
it.
IPs.
He with the way he was going with his Patreon, he could get enough. He could basically get enough money to fund it
Yeah.
himself. But I guess
He
it's a
doesn't own
weird
it.
process. Yeah, because it's like EA, so that he would have to get the funding from them, but they just not interested. It was a whole shit show.
I think it's mainly because they know it won't make money. Not because the first one didn't really sell either.
Well, that was the time.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
not even
The first
just
two
that.
didn't sell. Technically,
It's not even just that. Is a lot of companies are
No,
very
EA
happy
want
to just sit on IPs for as long
money.
as they can. It's not just that. It's not even just money. It's also we know this thing is it's basically if they decide to sit on an IP is basically they go we are not going to be able to make money with it. But we want to make absolutely sure, because basically, we know we're going to fuck it up if we try to do something else with that IP. That's what
Yeah, but
they're
with him,
admitting
they
to
wouldn't
when they
have
sit
fucked
on
up
an
though.
IP for so fucking long. Okay? And now they keep sitting on it just in case somebody else would make money from it and figure it out.
yeah.
So they just go, no, fuck you.
the thing is, they'd get the money anyway. But
Yeah, it's
EA
just
doing
crazy.
EA things.
Yeah, but for them, it's basically they see it, even if they don't make any money from
Yeah.
it, holding on to IP like that, they see it as weakening their competition because their competition can't make money from it either.
Yeah. It's
This is another Ubisoft banger. Funny how all the
Never gonna
bangers were
say
back
it.
in these generations, but the Wheelman, give us something.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's never gonna
Like as
happen.
cheesy as this
Not gonna
was,
happen.
it was fucking fantastic.
That's never going to happen. Do you know why, Jim? Because it was meant to be a movie and that got shut down. So
Yeah, the movie, yeah.
yeah,
But still, like, at least be something like
it'd be
make
nice,
it
but
playable.
it's never gonna happen.
Cause that it's fucking weird. But also,
I'd
this
like
was
a I'd like a reboot of the
LucasArts. I
Driver
don't know.
series. Now that I'm
Oh,
thinking
Oh,
about it.
Driver.
Driver
Right?
would be good. Oh, that's my childhood.
I don't know
there.
what LucasArts was thinking, but this is pretty fucking good.
Mm.
Fracture.
I've
You
never
ever play
played
that?
Fracture.
You don't.
Look-
Oh, it's interesting. It's
How much-
very unique.
How much of it did you play, Jim?
A little bit. Like I did like them. Like you could raise the ground up and shit. Like make divots and all the tech
It's
and
pretty
that.
fun in combat because it's basically trainal everywhere. So when you're in combat
Yeah.
and you're shooting and you have
You
enemies
just
coming down,
woof.
you're like an earthbender with guns, basically. So
Right?
you could
Oh,
be like
fucking
shooting,
hell, okay, that's
and
fun.
people come run out, and you just be like, "Boom!" and you just lift them up in the air and just launch them with like a ground. And if you need to get like a high point, you become the high ground. You're just like, I have that. You just raise the ground up from your feet. You're like, I have the high ground, Anakin.
But dude,
Like-
if you haven't played it, play it. You can probably play it on PC somewhere.
That's a game
I've
that
no
would
idea.
work. Like the fact the way that was, that would be something that would be perfect for this day and age. But like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Same as this next one, Matt Hazard.
yeah. Oh, what's
Give us
going
some
on
more
with that
Matt Hazard.
franchise?
I know there's 2 games, but they're stuck
was-
on 360 and that PS3. I think
Yeah,
they
'cause
might be on
that's-
PC. I'm unsure. But these games are fantastic.
We have talked about Matt Hazard before. Matt Hazard was different, yeah.
Yeah, because I played this once and it is one hell of a fucking ride. It is it makes fun of every action movie trope, action game trope. Makes
yeah.
It's a big fuck you to all these things in one game.
Yeah.
And you spoke of Capcom earlier. Where's the sequel to Azura's Wrath? Like, the game is. I have no idea what the fuck's happening in it. I technically finished it, but you've got to play it through and get S ranks to finish it to get the ending.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you, Capcom. Fuck you, Capcom. I just want to be done with the damn game. But yeah, that is one nonsense game. Like
they have- Capcom have been reviving some old franchises as of late, though.
I don't think
so,
that'd be one of them. I'd really.
I mean, I was beyond stunned when they announced that they were reviving Onimusha to begin with.
Yeah, there's a
like-
new one, isn't it? Like, I'm keen. Onimusha. The PS2 days were strong with that. Fuck. Onimusha. Which the third one you can play on PS4 and 5, which is weird.
Yeah,
Only the
But-
third, not the other ones.
but they're rebooting the first one now. They've announced it at the Game
Yeah.
Awards, and that one I'm actually kind of keen on. I'm
Right.
very curious about
It's
what they're
gonna
going
be
to pull with that.
fantastic. I hope it's not in the RE engine. Because the Onimusha games had a distinct style, which
Yeah,
if
I
they
hope-
can modernize that, it'll be fantastic.
Mhm.
But if they stick to RE engine where it's realistic, like Resident Evils and that, like
yeah. I don't think it would work at all for the art style they would have to go for anyway.
right.
So to me, that makes no sense. Plus, that was like the original Onimusha just fucking oozes style. Like if
right?
you make
That
it
game is
generic,
fantastic.
then you lose all of its purpose.
Motorstorm, fantastic. We haven't seen one since 2013, I think. That was the last game
In a
of
hot minute.
in the damn trilogy. But you think of racing, this is just chaotic fun. I was playing the second one. Oh my god, thing is brutal.
Oh yeah.
And to round it off, this needs to be on modern hardware, but Folklore. I don't know who did it, but I don't even know who even. There's nothing on there. It just says Sony. I don't know.
Might be Sony.
Yeah, but I don't know who actually developed it.
Folklore is the next role-play game video developed by Game Republic and published
they're
by
not
Sony.
around. They're not around anymore. Yeah, like this game is fucking fantastic. I haven't played it yet, but it was top of everyone's fucking list. I'm just like, I'll play it one day. It looks interesting.
Yoshiki
But
Okamoto?
if they can bring that out for modern systems, PC, fucking everything, do it.
So yeah, so basically the because I just looked it up for Folklore.
Yeah.
Folklore themselves have not released a single game since 2011. So I'm pretty sure that studio doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. Yeah.
They released.
I'm pretty sure Sony
couple of
own the
very
IP because it's
interesting
their
games,
IP. They just got them to make it, I think. Because
Yeah.
they're not on there at all. It's just PlayStation symbol. Like,
Because they made a few games for. They made a few games for Sony.
yeah.
The
Didn't they do the
Genji
Puppeteer?
games. They didn't do Puppeteer though.
Well, I know
Not
somebody
that
did
I'm
Puppeteer.
seeing.
That game is another 10 out of 10. That needs to
That
be on
was-
here, but
yeah.
I don't own it. But like, it's just games that are stuck on the old hardware. Like they just need a coat of paint. They don't need to be remade. Not all of them. Just give it a fresh lick of paint. Like these Naruto ones, they still look amazing. Just they can port them and they'll run fine. Because that kind of art style holds up no matter like Borderlands.
Yeah. Stylish,
Or like
cartoony art
cell-
style
cell
is
shaded
never
art styles
gonna
hold up.
age badly.
Yeah, the last game
Cartoons.
they made, which would have been 2011, The Knight's Contract.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too.
But they did
They made a couple of Dragon Ball games and
Oh.
They did Margin and the Forsaken Kingdom.
That game is fucking fantastic.
Yep.
Yes.
But
I forgot about that.
I will
platinum that.
Little fun
made the-
facts. Where
yeah,
is it?
they made the 2 Dragon Ball Origins games as well.
Oh. Damn.
So yeah, they were
So
really,
what they
really
vanished?
solid devs
2011.
back then.
Like,
Well, it says here that it was the developer.
who published
Um,
Margin of the Forsaken Kingdom?
Pretty sure that was Sony.
No, because that's on Xbox as well.
It was Namco Bandai Games.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, it was Bandai Namco.
looking over
You're right.
here,
Like,
so
I do recommend Margin because that game is fucking fantastic.
Yep.
employed on so
Yeah,
the
Bandai,
company.
yeah.
So Game Republic had under 300 individuals,
Mm.
and it was founded in 2003 by, like I said, Yoshiki Okamoto, who departed from Capcom. He also worked at Konami. They were known for arcade titles such as Gyrus and
They-
Time
They
Pilot.
made Genji, Dawn of the Samurai.
Yeah,
Yeah, they made all of the Genji games.
he worked on
Fuck.
the guy
I
who
told you,
And they
were
just fucking
solid.
vanished.
the
in
yeah
2011.
the
like,
guy who founded it. He also worked on Resident Evil and Street Fighter 2. Then he's also worked and partnered with, because the company has worked with like Sony, and then of course Namco Bandai Namco, and
Dark Mist?
Yeah, so yeah.
They didn't do Clash of the Titans, did they?
Oh, the
Yeah.
studio
Oh,
did.
Fuck.
Yeah, under different
Fuck.
different people.
They did Clash of the Titans. They did the Little Britain video game. Like, fucking hell. That's why they went under.
They,
No, they did a lot
yeah,
of good shit. Like, what the fuck happened?
They did a lot of good shit.
No, that didn't.
basically,
Well, that listing there from Game Republic themselves didn't do many games.
No,
They didn't do
what they did was
not many games, but what they
Genji
put
was-
out was really
Yeah, Genji.
fucking good.
Days of the
Genji,
Blade.
Margin, like Folklore, Dragon Ball Orange. What the?
Yeah, they made some really good stuff.
Yeah, it just they did Catan in 2008.
Do you know what their first product was? Game Republic's first product. They published them. They publish it. Mate. It was
Published, mate. They published?
2005. That they published was a board game called
Yeah, Catan.
no
Was it?
Shadowhunters.
No.
Oh, well, then Catan was
Someone else.
2008.
didn't-
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
and
a-
their
that was a
Catan
PlayStation.
adaptation was actually a video game
Yeah,
adaptation of the board game.
it wasn't. Yeah, something like
Right?
that. But I was like
They
that.
don't own the IP for Catan.
The first thing
No.
Game Republic did was make a board game. It's kind of interesting.
That's fucking weird.
But yeah, they made, and then the very first video game they ever made was the first Genji.
Yeah,
Yeah, Genji, like that Genji, PS2, like my god.
it's crazy when you look at the history of stuff.
Speaking-
Like,
Speaking of games, I'd love to see.
There's
coming
Genji
back.
on PS3. Genji Days
What?
of the Blade.
I want to know what.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
wanna-
But
I'm-
anyway. But
I want to see. I want to see Dawn of the Samurai get a new coat of
Ooh.
paint. That'd be
Or
so
Dawn of
damn
the
good.
Samurai, right?
First Genji.
Yeah. What's the game that I was? Some PlayStation.
Because it was, well, let's be honest, it basically was Dynasty Warrior before Dynasty Warriors.
I think Dynasty Warriors was the same era, right? Like literally the same. It was
came
on
out- yeah,
PS2.
they were kind of competing with one another, and
Mm.
Dynasty Warriors kind of won out.
Yeah, but Genji was more focused on one thing, wasn't it? Where Dynasty Warriors was
Like,
a big open.
I know they made other titles and there's other variants, but my biggest game that's a classic for me that was like I was really good at and I loved so much was Tenchu Stealth Assassins. The first.
Oh, Tenchu.
Oh,
Like I know they've
good.
made more in its chain, but like that first game was just so good. Like I was filthy.
There
at
might be
that
that
game.
FromSoft Xbox exclusive. Ninja Blade, I think it was called. Ninja.
I wouldn't remember that.
Something like that, yeah.
Let me have a look. Ninja. What's Knight's Contract? That looks cool, actually. Like, I'll definitely pick that up one day.
But
I think it
yes.
was called Ninja Blade. It was weird. It had like
Something
quick
like
time events and everything. From a FromSoft
Oh.
game, like yeah, FromSoft on the PC and Xbox.
Oh, we need to put ourselves in.
I've
next to-
never really followed FromSoft, so I can't speak on that. I'm not a FromSoft fan player at all in any way, shape, or form. So can't
Yeah.
really talk there.
It can, yeah. It's nice.
Did we just lose Jimothy?
Oh, did we? He's frozen. he does
He's
this every
very
now and then.
frozen.
He does this.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll. Wait, let me if I can. I'm too far.
You got this. Oh, he's back.
I always love doing that with the podcast. Every time he freezes, like I always try and mimic his freeze pose.
My net just said "big fuck you" when it was just stuck
Yeah.
at 5,000 fucking milliseconds.
Um,
Like Jesus.
Well, I mean that's yeah. I mean we've really. I think we've taken up a lot of Raven's time personally. I don't.
What's that like? Nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
I feel
It's been
bad.
a bit.
It's been a bit. I feel bad. We've gone this long.
It's fine.
Uh,
Sorry.
I
I
said
had
2
intended
hours,
to
but
stay
we're
awake
fine.
for a while.
Yeah.
So
But is there much
it's
else?
fine.
Is there anything? Was that it? Was that it from the games? Was that all your list of what you
I
would
was
like?
gonna go more, but I couldn't possibly fit more. Another fucking hour. But
Oh, next
just-
time I'll do
I
it.
just
I'll
love
have to put-
games, man. I just sick that things are stuck in like 20-year-old
I think-
fucking consoles. Like,
More or less, it'd be nice just to have support where you could play them on a newer system. Would be the main.
well, if you own the disc, just chuck it in and download the game. Like just say like Dark Watch, right? Just chuck that in the Xbox and just download
and just
the
play, so
game.
it's just
like,
compatible. Like it shouldn't be that hard. It's on the disc. You don't need to do anything. It's like those old games were built to
Oh,
play
that,
from the
yeah.
disc. Like games nowadays, you have to
yeah,
run
but
them,
not
patch
from the
them.
disc. It's literally you download from their servers the game. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
play it on the disc.
No, but like I mean, like that's what I'm saying. New games, but like old games, they're on the
No,
disc.
old games.
Like they're on the disc. Like
Yeah.
it is the disc. It's all there. Like why can't you just make
Yeah.
them like have the emulators and just emulate the play? Like it's just ridiculous that they're gatekeeping. all
Because
this.
that would imply basically either developing or encouraging the development of emulators, and game devs are never, ever, ever,
No,
ever
there's
gonna
game
do
devs
that.
who are doing stuff for Sony right now. That's how we're getting the PS1, 2, PSP games on current gen, because they hire out implicit conversions
Mm.
Yeah,
and they're
but at
bringing
that
games
point,
from PS2 and that over to
Yeah.
PS5, which is fucking cool.
yeah,
It's
that's
just
great.
it's only a couple
But that's
few
why I like
games
how
a
the old
month
consoles,
at the
like
moment.
at least the 360 and PS3 to the point, were backwards compatible. Like it was.
PS3 makes sense. You can just put a Blu-ray into the new stuff. Just
Oh.
360 doesn't because it's just a normal fucking DVD. Like that'd be a lot
The
harder because it's
PS3,
just
But
it's
that
old
was the thing,
hardware.
though. You could
PS3
play basically
hardware was so much.
like 360 was good.
The PS3 hardware was so weird compared to what was standard before and
Yeah, because
after.
of that the cell processor.
Mm. But
Well,
that's what I mean, though. Like you could
that
play games. Like
plus the hardware DRM.
Mm. But they are
Plus
working
the
on
hardware
PS3
DRM
emulator for
detection.
PS5
but that was
now.
the
So
thing, though, because like with the 360, I could chuck in any of my old Xbox One games and it played it. There was no
Xbox One,
discrepancy.
you mean original Xbox,
Like,
no,
OG Xbox, yeah.
Xbox One.
But then you got the Xbox One, and it was very selective because it was like what you could actually play, like whether it was a
Yeah,
360
and it's
game
not off the
or an
disc.
OG.
You put the
And
disc in
yeah.
and it downloads it.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like why?
But you still need the disc to play it. Even though it's just,
Mostly because you need to have the biggest problem here is to be able to run on a bunch of different GPUs. So if you don't have the drivers to those GPUs implemented into the game,
Yeah.
and that's why
then
PlayStation are
you're
doing
fucked.
emulators for the
It's
PS2,
just
One,
like, oh.
Yeah.
PSP.
I don't know, it's
They
simpler.
emulate
That's
it
why
through
I
the
like how things were
PS5,
just a simpler
PS4.
time. It's just like a simpler time. That's what it felt like. You have to fuck around. You can just chuck it in and play it. You don't
But
have
also,
to wait,
if you put so many like the PS1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into one console, that's gonna be a fucking pricey console because they got all these different chipsets, all these different components. It's like I'm kind of happy they don't do that and just give us emulated stuff.
I mean, you say that, but like you could. It was so weird at the time because I remember back in the day, you just go see Joe Blow Bob, pay $50 or whatever it was for a chip, and you modded your console and you could play anything. Like,
Yeah, that was old. That
I
was
know.
PS1. Like that was so easy to fucking hack.
it was ridiculous.
But
I
now,
remember
like,
my friend had
it'll be expensive to put a whole PS3 in a PS5 because you need the whole fucking PS3 board because it all runs off the fucking cell processor. Like,
it's just so
they really
weird.
fucked themselves with that.
That's what I mean. Like, it was fine. Like, it was a simpler time. You could just do what it was. You know,
The 360 makes sense because you could literally just convert that over to Xbox One.
because my friend had like a PS3 that was modded that you could literally play
Yeah,
all PlayStation games and Xbox games on his PS3. Like, it was stupid.
that's off a USB. Like,
It's just a computer.
That's because
Like,
yeah, it is. Any console
Like,
is.
yeah,
but they've
Especially-
overcomplicated.
Any
especially
console
now.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, even back then.
not now because on the PS5 you got no Windows browser. You can't browse on the internet.
Mm.
Oh,
You can on
that
PS4.
doesn't change. That doesn't change shit though. It's still a computer.
Yeah,
It's just the functionality that is
so
accessible
you
to
get
you at
locked
that
out if you
moment
mod it
isn't
now.
the same.
I mean, if you know what you're doing, you could break it down into parts and use those parts for other things, and like it's still tech.
I mean,
parts.
I was running a fucking Linux homebrew on my PS3 way back when.
right. Yeah. That fucking.
Because I didn't have any utility for it. I sold my whole PS3 collection when I was broke, kept the console, and then basically started using it that turned it into a secondary computer.
That sucks when you gotta sell that shit because fuck that's expensive to get it back.
Oh, I
Like,
knew
fuck.
for a fact I would never get it back. Because there wasn't a ton of games from back then that I would have wanted to replay anyway.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going like, again, I'm an old fart, so if I was going to go for nostalgia,
I'm sorry.
I would probably go older than that.
Jim, I just got a message. I was just checking on Mules. So Mules messaged me back going, just watching Jensler struggle with his new overlays. His stream's currently running at 10 FPS.
Damn.
I don't know how you managed to get 10 FPS on your stream, but good luck
That
to
is
you.
rough.
That's rough.
Oh,
Yeah. That's real rough.
it's a woof.
Your overlay shouldn't mess with your fucking frame
I don't know
rate
what
or
he's
your
doing.
connection. Unless you're doing it all through like links. Oh god, no.
If he's using like 1,000 browser sources, it'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean. Like
shiny
if
metal
he's
ball.
using like hyperlinks for every fucking thing, they're gonna tax it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
The
that
more
is not
layers
good.
you put in, the more demanding it is,
But,
especially when it comes
I
to
learned the hard way. I took them
browser
all
sources.
off because just.
I know, you don't need half that stuff. Like, it was a
Yeah.
To be
phase.
fair, streams
a
don't
phase.
need any.
It literally, what it
things.
was, if you looked at it at the time period, it was a phase, it was the style in thing to do with your streams. So everyone was
Yeah.
doing it.
Like you can actually see this because I'm using my OBS virtual.
You look at
cam.
most people now, most people don't really have any of the
Like-
fancy nonsense anymore. Like,
Look at that. That's what I used to rock.
yeah.
I don't anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's just
I designed that for
Uh,
you. Didn't I? I designed that one, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
no.
That was the other one I designed?
My freaking brother did it. Yeah, he did the green Deadpool and.
No, it was the other one
yeah.
I designed. I designed the logo, but there's another one I designed similar to use. That was
Like-
I was gonna say it's too
There was
simple.
that. There was. Oh, I don't even use that anymore either. Like I just use
Something I know you had there that I designed. I know there's one that is there somewhere.
right.
Now you don't even use that. You just fuck off and leave the empty chair there. So
That's it. I mean,
Okay,
it,
yeah,
it,
babe,
it
back
works.
in a minute. You don't
That's
need
one of
nothing
the things.
fancy for a fucking stream. Like you really,
But,
nah, you don't.
really don't.
but
As long as your cam's there and not obstructed, or and you got your
Sure.
gameplay, whatever.
Yeah.
I think
So it's just the only thing I've got like a kind of a half baked overlay for, like an actual overlay for, is when I play retro games, because
yeah.
aspect ratio is not the same.
Yeah, because
so
you
I
gotta
got
fill
some
the sides in.
I
and-
got some screen to fill up.
Yeah,
But other
right.
than that,
It's not much you have to really worry about.
not really. Plus, I hate kind of having stuff hiding game UI whenever
Yeah,
I
I
play
hate that.
something.
As well, that's when my camera goes
Yes.
up or down. Like if there's a little ammo counter, just gotta raise it a little bit. If there's something
Yeah,
else,
see, I used
keep
to like
raising it.
to from my graphic design side of things, I used to like to, when I made my headers and like bottoms and stuff like that, any kind of like overlays, I'd always try and like get him to incorporate the game as well or something like that. So I'd shape them a certain way for certain games. So I'd had a million different overlays because I'd be playing a million different games, but
Oh,
like
I
some
do.
would just have the basic.
I actually do.
Or
I do the same.
It'll
I don't
complement
have a
the
lot
game.
of UI elements. I really don't have a lot of UI elements when I stream, but usually I do have an overlay set up for each game I
Yeah.
play on stream, because that way I could place a camera at a different spot where I'm not hiding parts of the UI, or at least not the important bits.
Right.
And also, if I have like alerts, I can also show them in different parts of the screen depending on where my camera is, and a couple of other things like that. Nothing like super fancy, but it's enough that I feel like I need to make that change.
Yeah.
And which is also why I tend to be very, very deliberate about the games I choose to play on stream, and not just kind of whip it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I do plan that shit up to a point in that I prepare for it for the moment where I feel like it's time to
Yeah.
bring that.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Like as of right now, there's gonna be a new game come into my stream very soon. Because I've moved Kerbal over to the produced non
The quality, yeah, the
kind of
the level,
stuff.
yeah.
That means I now have a free slot on my streaming schedule, and I have to bring
Yep.
another game
Something
in,
to play, yeah.
which I have not announced yet. I know what it's going to be. I haven't announced it yet. That
FromSoft
announcement's gonna be
might
coming out
tempt you.
very soon.
Comes off its attention.
They were part of the
I
Tenchu dev team. Yeah, FromSoft.
think, yeah, some of the guys who worked on Tenchu actually moved on to
Yeah.
FromSoft later.
There's a game I can't think of. It's on the Xbox. There's 2 games. There's that and a sequel. I can't. It's a samurai one, but I can't think of it.
Not
On the
Ninja Gaiden.
360.
Bushido
No.
Blades?
No. I'm
It
trying
wasn't
to.
Bushido Blade?
No.
Bushido Blade was a fantastic
it's-
fighting game, by the way.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I have it in the back of my head, but I can't think of the fucking name of it.
Only on Xbox.
Yeah, it's a 360 exclusive. There's 2 of them. One's like $300 now. Like the second one, I think. Or the
Sheesh.
yeah, they're fucking good.
Ninja Blade. Ninja
I'm just trying to
Gaiden.
think of. It's such a G, I think. No, it's
That
not
would
G. Oh fuck, where is it? I'm having a look. I just there's a Tenchu Z on Xbox 360. Tenchu Z. Right, you
Pardon me.
fucker.
Hmm.
I have it in the back of my. I can't think of the
I'll have
name
to
though.
come back. I guess come back to another time.
No, I'm finding it right here. I'm finding that fucking thing.
He's determined. Jim gets determined. I was trying to look. I don't know what.
I'll know when I see it.
But yes.
I have
Reminder once again. While Jim's looking for that, check out Raven on his social. Crimson was it Crimson Raven on YouTube and
Crimson Raven on YouTube, Crimson Raven 85 on both Twitter and Twitch.
Yep.
And Crimson Raven as well on Blue Sky,
Yep.
where I post a fair few things. And in whichever way you decide to check, if you decide to check any of those, my Discord is also linked all over the place for
all over
these.
socials. Yep.
And yeah, I stream on both Twitch and YouTube 4 times a week.
4 times.
Restarting this Monday. My holiday break technically ends on Monday when it comes to streaming things. So I'm restarting on Monday.
Yep.
And as of right now, I am currently streaming. I usually do 4 times a week, so usually keep it to 4 different games,
Yep.
kind of on rotation.
One each day, basically.
I
Yeah,
forgot Lost
when he said-
Odyssey. Oh.
Oh, Lost Odyssey, is that what you're thinking of? No.
No, that's not the one though. But I forgot Lost Odyssey.
Jim's-
Sorry,
Oh, Jim.
And yeah, so what I was about to say is the right now on the current rotation,
Yep.
I have a current play of the original BioShock that's going on.
Oh,
That
yeah, I
one
did
has
see a bit of that.
been,
Yes, I've seen a little bit of that.
that one gave me a bit of issues though, because that is one of those games where the music is copyrighted, so I have
Yeah.
to be very careful. The main menu music specifically gets me flagged for copyright for some reason. Then there is Satisfactory, which was the last thing I streamed before the holiday break, where I made the special Fixmas build, which took me 8 fucking hours.
Okay, it was the original Xbox. Otogi.
That
Never
rings a
heard it, have
bell.
you?
rings
Otogi,
a
Immortal
bell, but-
Warriors, and Myth of Demons.
Myth of Demons, I remember.
Yeah, the second one, Immortal
yeah,
Warriors, that
that's
goes
all
for a
in
lot of
there.
money.
Oh, yeah, those are rare as fuck now.
Otogi, yeah, like that. Like
Oh, God. Yeah.
it's an RPG by FromSoft,
Yeah.
published by Sega. Or Sega, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Goddamn.
Oh, which one's that?
Yeah,
A Togi?
And yeah.
Otogi, Myth of Demons, and then Otogi 2. I couldn't think of the name. I'm like, 360? Oh, the original fucking Xbox.
Yeah, that's
Like,
because
Man,
that's what I was about to say. That's not on the 360 for sure.
no, but you probably play them on there, I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
But Otogi, yeah, like I tried looking, they're expensive.
It's on the, you can get digitally a Togi on the Xbox.
On the Series X?
Comes up on the shop.
Potentially, might be worth.
How much
looking
is
at.
it?
I think it's, US is $20.
Oh, fuck. So like $30.
Oh, so for you guys, probably
Yeah, play with
30,
Xbox.
35.
Play with Xbox One and Xbox Series X.
So
No.
they've ported it.
There's also Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, a Togi,
Oh,
120 bucks. A Togi
Mhm.
2, 90 They come down.
Oh, there's a lot of these Xbox classics and stuff like that been brought over
Yeah.
to Xbox.
Yeah, they've been working hard at porting stuff.
Yeah. Get a Togi on
Togi.
Xbox.
Yeah. Well, it's only on Xbox.
Well, I mean, like,
I just had
It's a FromSoft game. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah. I just had an absolute flashback. Speaking of a
And
really old
Tukiden.
game that I'd like to see again.
What's that?
And it was that game was originally released only for the SNES
Ooh.
and never even got like an official North American release ever. It was only ever
Dang.
released in Japan to begin with, but a bunch of fan translation kind of made their way to us. So I was able to play it in English, albeit translated by fans.
Yeah, right.
And it was a game for the SNES named Bahamut Lagoon, which was basically,
Bahamut Lagoon.
and yeah, Bahamut Lagoon was very much, think of it as basically Fire Emblem before Fire Emblem.
oh, yep.
Oh.
Except except one of the biggest thing is as each of your characters also had a dragon companion that you can control.
Hey, show Bahamut Lagoon.
Yep. And the original version was released for Japan only for the SNES. And
Yeah,
never got.
$65.
Yep. It is.
Super Nintendo Famicom, yeah. Japanese version.
Yeah, because the
not
English
bad.
version was never officially released.
Yeah.
There are some fan translations
Made
that
by
were
Square
made.
Enix.
Yeah, that was made by Square Enix back then.
Well, Squaresoft back then.
Yeah.
I should
And
say Squaresoft. Oh, the
Yeah,
case
because-
is weird. It's like a big, long, like an N64 box. Like,
Yeah.
the hell?
yeah, because that's what they did for the Japan only versions.
That's fucking cool. $65 ain't bad.
It's not too bad. Because that game didn't.
Can you play that
sell-
and still get the story in Japanese? Like, do you reckon?
I was playing fan translations, so I'm not entirely sure.
Oh,
Because I couldn't speak. I mean, I barely could speak English at the time, so
yeah, right.
there was no.
I mean, just
fucking
plug
way I
that,
would-
just chuck that into a Super Nintendo and just probably just play it and be fine. I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, considering I was already playing a decent amount of video games in a language that I couldn't understand, because I didn't understand English all that well back then.
Right.
I mean, I could figure some of it out. And I would say the story
The art
was
is cool.
the story was fine. Honestly, it wasn't his strongest suit anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
It just looks like
the
Final Fantasy.
gameplay-
Like the
the
pixel
gameplay
Final
loop
Fantasy.
is fantastic. And to me, that was Final Fantasy Tactics before Final Fantasy Tactics ever existed.
Damn.
Except with more
Bahamut.
dragons.
Bahamut?
Bahamut Lagoon.
Oh, I'm reading upside down. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah.
Bahamut.
But it was great.
Yeah, that
Anyways,
is
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Back to what I was talking about before I got sidetracked too.
yeah.
It happens.
I'm
It
just as bad
happens.
as you guys on that.
That's yeah.
Good, it's
So,
called
yeah,
AD. It's called ADHD.
I think we should just rebrand to the Beardy Bros ADHD podcast.
So right now on the rotation I have Bioshock, I have Satisfactory currently going on, which is
Yep.
advancing at a pretty decent clip. And I have Hard West 2, which is basically unknown but incredibly fun.
Oh, what?
That game is basically completely unknown, but
Yeah.
it is so damn fun. Think of it as well, it's It's XCOM, but cowboys,
Yep.
Ooh.
but also Lovecraftian horror.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
pretty cool.
really, yeah, there's like eldritch horror, tentacles, and deals with the devils and bullshit like that in the Wild West.
Yep.
And the combat is a tactics grid a la XCOM.
Yep.
Um, and like modern XCOM, basically, I would say the closest thing I've seen to it was XCOM 2
Yeah,
in
right.
terms of combat.
They come
Oh,
to.
that's pretty good then.
So, and they had like really fun, fairly unique mechanics in that, depending on not only the character that you are playing, but also the weapons that they would have. You would have some extra abilities that are pretty fun. A lot of environmental effects that you're able to use that I've never seen in other games. Being able to ricochet bullets
Oof.
through like freaking spaghetti cowboy style. Just I've set up shots in that game where I would ricochet 3 times to hit somebody in the back of the
Like
head.
ding 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 ding, and then bang.
Oh yeah, literally. Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's
I love it.
great. Oh my god.
Um,
It's like that fucking Steam mod thing I was doing. Like, like you get the ricochets with the
yes, the
shotgun.
SteamWorld
Yeah.
Heist was a great one. That was one of the I was sponsored to play SteamWorld Heist 2 not that long
Right.
ago, and I had a ton of fun with it.
It's like when
But
I,
yeah,
it's like when I got you to install it because I was like, I'm just playing it because I got it for free, and you're just
yeah.
like, that game looks fun. That looked
It looks
interesting.
fun, and I had all of the previous ones and played the fuck out of them, and then suddenly over on the
Yeah, because
platform
there's
where I
SteamWorld
sometimes look
Dig.
for,
There's
yeah,
like
there's
there's a whole
SteamWorld Dig,
thing like with
SteamWorld
SteamWorld.
Quest as well.
Yeah, like
There's a whole universe,
I was like, holy fuck! I've got the same
and
characters too, like at least some
it
crossover.
the main character is always the same, and then the rest of the crew kind of changes.
Yeah, like
But they have
it's fucking
they have
interesting, isn't
SteamWorld
it?
Quest, SteamWorld Heist, SteamWorld Heist 2, SteamWorld Dig, and also SteamWorld
Dig
Dig
2.
2. Um, and there's a bunch of it. Actually, I'm pretty sure the SteamWorld Heist main character is supposed to be kind of a descendant of the main one
Oh,
from SteamWorld Dig,
yeah.
because SteamWorld Heist 2 has kind of that big story arc, that kind of coming of age, making your own way kind of story going. Where at the very beginning of the game, like there was a whole lot of expectations put on that character being, you're nowhere near as good as your dad was, um,
Right.
basically, and the character kind of figuring out their own way in the whole um, duration of the game. Um, but yeah, I've played that a ton, and yeah, Hard West 2, which I am playing on stream right now, has is not like because Team World is completely 2D.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is really completely 2D. Hard West 2 is just is 3D but isometric, just like
Mm.
XCOM is. Um, but it is cowboys and Far West and eldritch horror and tentacles.
That's pretty good.
Um, it's Cthulhu in a Western movie, basically, and you get to shoot things in the most ludicrous ways there is, and it's hilarious.
Right.
Um, and even the other big thing that I absolutely love about this game is what they call the swagger mechanic.
What a good mechanic.
Basically, yeah, they call it the swagger mechanic. Um, which basically, because in those type of tactical games, you have a limited amount of actions per turn that you can
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
But if you get kills in certain way or certain characters, and it differ, like each of the characters has their very distinct way of triggering this. But if you do, you regain your action point.
Oh.
So you get to. It's basically an action surge.
Mm. That's interesting.
And there are, at that point, because that exists, you get secondary objectives on each of the missions, which is basically kind of speedrun mode. In that, if you get to clear, I don't know, the whole escort of that train you're trying to hijack in 2 turns,
Mm.
then you get a bunch of bonuses things,
Ooh.
um, which is really cool. And the other mechanic I absolutely love about it too is each of the characters have different perks that you can unlock, but the way you unlock them is by giving them cards, literal poker hands.
Huh.
You gain cards. You build up a deck of cards, of playing cards that you get to share between your characters, and the way you unlock certain perks is by giving them. Let's say there is one character in particular that unlocks um, extra damage using rifles, let's say, if you give them at least a three of a kind.
Dang.
That's interesting.
Or if you
Right?
give them something better, then they'll have that perk plus a couple of others
Like a three of a
underneath.
kind or like a full
Yeah.
house, whatever,
Yeah.
things like that.
And
Yeah.
then the way you gain these cards is by doing the bonus objectives in the
Oh.
previous
Ooh.
mission. So that way, if you decide to really 100% the fucking thing, like I'm doing right now,
To be interesting.
actually, I said like I'm doing right now. Now I've kind of given up on it in the last mission because that last one
Oh.
was rough. Um,
Oh no.
but it's still like there's a lot of unique things that I've never seen in any other game. And I feel like this game is wildly underrated and way too unknown and deserves a
Yeah, it
lot
sounds
more
like it's
love.
yeah, it's got
Like
a
a
lot going
lot
for it. Like
of
it really put a lot of thought.
there's so many games, man. Like you can't play everything, can you? Like
And yeah, and the writing on it is really good. Like I'm in love with that game, and I can't wait to play it again. I've
right? Oh.
haven't played it in a couple weeks because of the holidays.
So you get a
Yeah.
hankering,
And
you
I'm
get a hankering scratching going. I want to play it. I'm keen
oh
to
yeah,
play it.
I'm gonna scratch that itch
It's
very
good. It's
soon.
good when you find games like that make you think about like when you leave them and you go, no, I want to come
Oh
back
yeah,
to that game. You know what I mean? Like, because this game, you
oh
go, like, oh, I enjoy
absolutely.
playing it, but then you go, okay, a week's gone by, 2 weeks have gone by, 3 weeks, and you haven't touched it. But when you've got it like sitting there going, ooh, yeah, I kind of want to,
Nope,
yeah,
nope. I gotta get back to it. Yeah, and that's gonna happen very
that's
soon.
good. That's cool.
That's gonna happen very soon. That's usually my end of the week kind of game. That's usually kind of my Thursday,
Oh,
Friday
yeah,
game.
your nice end of the week
Um,
rundown.
um, Mostly because the um, and it's really just it's kind of the least well-known game I have on rotation right now.
Yep.
So I try to put it in a spot where it has a chance to generate traffic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so usually
Which is always
Thursdays
fucking
are a
hard
pretty
though.
good day
Like
for me for that. So I tend to put it there. Um, and then yeah, there's gonna be a fourth game come in, and I'm going
oh.
back to my old JRPG roots because I love my
Right?
old JRPGs. And it's one of those very old JRPGs that I've never played.
Yeah.
So,
Oh. Oh
and we're talking SNES era.
fuck.
Um,
That's SNES
so
RPG. Oh.
that's gonna be very interesting. I'm
Right?
not gonna spoil the name just yet because I haven't even
Yeah.
announced it in my own Discord. But that should be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about it.
That's all right then.
right? Like oh. Definitely be interesting to see what it is now, wouldn't it?
No, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know of many titles. That's what I'm sitting thinking. I don't.
No, the SNES had a
Nothing's.
lot of
Yeah, nothing's really coming to
RPGs.
mind. Like it's not. Yeah. I'll be
And it's
curious.
not. I was actually tempted to play the original Breath of Fire. That was one of the
Mhm.
suggestions I had made. Um,
That'd be very rough, though. I'm pretty sure. Like, not rough, but like have
I
been
mean,
an
it's still
adjustment.
it would be an adjustment, but then again, like I love that series so damn much, at least 1 to 4, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's one of those games that I know kind of like the back of my hand that I could just gush about for 4 hours every time I play it, every stream. Which is what I did with Breath of Fire 3, let's be honest. That
Yeah.
I just played that game on stream so I could gush about a game that I love for 4 hours in a row every
That's
freaking
good
week.
though. That's good though. That's good to have that game you really
And
enjoy.
Because you never
oh yeah,
play a game you don't like because it's bad.
no, it's just not gonna work. Like unless I'm doing just like a first impressions review kind of thing.
Yep.
In that case, then I'll just
That's a different
I
story. Yeah.
usually like if I take a sponsorship of any kind, usually I force myself to go into it completely blind.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you
Just to
load it
be able
up
to
first,
give
see if
like
it
honest
runs first
impressions
before you
about
do
it.
that.
Yeah, usually that's what I do. Yeah, that's. I mean, I couldn't do the Polaris sponsorship that Jimothy actually did with a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that, because the game didn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always got
And
to
that's it.
test
Not
it.
everything's gonna work. You may think you might, then you
Yeah.
can't. Like it's just one of those
It
things.
actually, and weirdly, that game works for me now. I figured out what the problem was. Um, I might do something with it soonish
Yeah.
because that game looks fun. Um, but yeah,
That's yeah.
there's a few other things coming up for me in the pipeline, but as of right now, that's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Kerbal 101 videos coming out.
That's gonna
Maybe
be
some
cool.
other instructional series is also coming up that I might start pivoting to. But as I
Nice.
do that, I have to start really thinking about how I'm going to manage my time because those series are very time consuming.
Yeah.
Because you have to shoot a whole lot of footage and then your editing time is through the roof.
Yeah. Editing's the one.
Especially for stuff like that because you just can't wing that either. Like,
It's
No, you can't.
editing
You
that takes
can't
up the
just.
most time. That's what. Yeah. That's like with the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with editing. Like the podcast is completely raw. Everything
you're
goes
trying to
straight
edit that,
up. It's just fucking.
You can't. You can't edit the podcast. You just
No, it
That's the
doesn't
whole point.
work.
no.
It doesn't really
Because some people
work.
do it. Like that's the thing.
Unless
Like people do a podcast and they do that. It's like, what's the point of you doing a podcast? And if you're just gonna hack it up and chunk it around, like
I mean, if we say something that we shouldn't, maybe it gets bleeped out or
Sense-
cut
yeah.
out, but that's about it.
I mean, the only other reason I could see would be the only other reason I could see, and I've seen some podcasts do that. I'm not a fan of it, but I could see why.
yeah,
Would be if they're backed up by like Patreon or something,
yeah,
and have like the full unedited version go to like the Patreon contributors and have the hacked
Yeah,
up
but
version
that's
go out to
just
the public.
that's kind of
I'm not
but
a
like
fan
it,
of
but
that,
like see, like that's
but
what if
because
we
you're
would
kind of
do.
why they would do
gatekeeping
it.
content that
Yeah.
should be for
The only
everyone. Like,
that's what I said. The way I would see it for our perspective, if it was something like that was to happen, would be like you'd have the main episode, and then you'd be a separate bonus episode. Would be what
yeah,
the
Yeah,
Patreon got. Like had their own unique episode. Like that's the episode after the show. The show after the show kind of
yeah,
thing.
you just start shooting extra stuff
Yeah.
instead of chopping up what you've already got.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like-
Yeah, but some
It's just
guys do it
Yeah,
that way.
marketing,
and as I said
like-
before, I'm not a fan of that, but
like I
some
can
of them
understand like
do
a
it.
YouTube video. Like if you were doing like
Yeah.
if you wanted to like like doing a Kerbal, not saying that, but
Yeah.
like you could do that where you'd do a thing and you'd have it condensed down, but you want to, it's there are content
There's
you can
that, or I mean, I was also considering maybe the idea of, in kind of not really the same vein, but up to a point of having those instructional videos, maybe shoot them live, and then have to ignore chat completely while I'm doing my stuff.
but that's
Yeah.
hard.
Um,
like you,
I've tried
'cause
doing that, and
you'll
it's
see
yeah.
something and try and respond. It's like try not to
But
respond.
yeah,
It's-
I'm very, very. It's basically impossible for me to not respond.
Yeah,
But
Right.
I considered that idea for a while and decided not to.
No, it makes sense.
Mostly, Mostly because I have a very, very, very weird work and stream schedule already.
Yeah.
Because I work nights, and because of that, in North American time, I actually stream very early mornings, and I wanted to have the produced kind of content
Yeah.
hit later in the day.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, schedule it, whatever.
So
Right.
so that I have, stuff for, because I have like a lot of my friends are basically saying, well, I can't really watch your stream because I'm still sleeping at that moment.
That's yeah.
Right.
That's a big thing that put me away from Twitch as well. Is like
Mm.
time zones can be an awkward thing or whatever. And it's like I just want to do YouTube because then the videos are there. People can watch them whenever they
Yeah.
feel like it. Like
That's why I'm doing both.
Mm.
Like I stream it
Yeah.
and record for episodes for
Mm.
YouTube. So
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
also the reason why I dual stream, because that way the VODs are
Mm.
on
Already
YouTube
there, yeah, ready to
instantly,
go.
which helps a lot.
And I've
I'm
learned to do
getting
them
a
in
decent
1 hour
amount of use out of
episodes now
that.
because
But
I was doing full 6 hours. I'm like, no, people don't what 6 hours.
I know.
Yep.
I know. I know. I joked about it, but I think I think we should start getting to the
Another
end of
30
this.
minutes. I mean, what's 30 minutes? That's like,
No, I
just some more put, huh?
yeah. No, I
I
think
am gonna need to refill my
Oh,
coffee if we're gonna keep
so,
going though.
no, I know. That's why I think it's a
yeah,
good
another
time to.
3 hours, 4
I-
hours, 4.5.
I know it's the
Not
first
that
episode.
fucking
I
far.
jokingly said to Jim we could have the longest episode for our first episode back, but I don't want to traumatize people that much with being like, oh
Well, it
my
is
god.
It didn't hear the longest, I think.
But I know. I think this has been a good episode. I've enjoyed it. I just kind of
Same
need to
here.
run to the toilet now. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've got the explanation now. We can't keep going because Des is about to shit himself.
I mean, I would say no, but that is a yes.
Yeah. I think Jim wants to. No.
Um,
No, but I mean, I think this is. It's been a good. I don't want to.
I am
Dude,
gonna have to leave
yeah.
anyways. So
So I don't want to do too much anyway. Like we've gone for 3.5 hours. Like we can't keep going any longer than that.
3.5? Oh, I thought it was 4.5. Fuck.
we'll leave.
No,
We'll leave the people with a little
Because I mean, we're gonna have
for
Raven.
for what might be coming next
Yeah.
if I do come back.
Yeah.
Spoilers, not really. Teaser.
oh, before you.
Um,
No, no.
I
Jim.
do have Raven's question for the next person.
Oh yeah. So we'll get to that.
I have to write it. Yeah, we have to get it and write it down.
I mean,
Already wrote the
I will
thing.
keep it. I will keep it fairly simple, but I'll keep it fairly simple. But my question for the next guest would be, what is kind of the family tradition in terms of food
Yep.
in your family?
What is the family tradition? Of
Yeah,
food?
the family tradition for holiday food.
Yep. That sounds like a good one.
Family tradition.
That's interesting. Like I said, the question is open to anything. So yeah.
Yeah, and very quickly for
But
me,
you're actually.
We are
Yeah.
going to get two completely different answers from two different people, whoever we get on next. Because
yeah.
it's either going to be Wookiee or Triple. So
Well,
whoever
that's gonna be
comes
very
first.
different then.
It's going to be two different. Or even Bushido, a third one. Like,
Who knows? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah.
I don't know. However,
Raven.
We're gonna
Whoever.
just hope they
And
don't
yeah,
see
for
this.
for me, the tradition is every year we all of us end up at my grandma's place, and it is um fuck. I'm trying to find the English word for it. Mm,
Is there an English word for it?
I'm trying to find it because it is a very kind of French Canadian traditional dish that was made back when my grandma was young. So
What's
A long
in
time
it?
ago.
What goes into the dish?
but it's
A
a
long time.
huge kind of, I would say it's a huge kind of pie, I would dare say, but it's kind of a multiple meat pie where you
Hmm.
would have where you would have basically a very lean red meat, usually game meat. For us, it's moose.
Yeah.
Because I go hunting every year,
Yeah.
and then you'd mix that with something that's a bit greasier, like pork,
Yep.
and on top of that, you'd add like potatoes, carrots, and a bunch of other vegetables in there, but all of that in a pie.
Ooh.
That sounds like I think I know what you're talking about. That's why I wanted to know what
And
was in it. Trying to think. It's
and for us, it's
proper.
basically like a traditional meat pie, French
Mm.
Canadian meat pie. If you,
Yeah.
would be the closest translation I can get to it on top of my head right now. And I've eaten that dish many, many times in my life, and
It was just fucking
Well,
delicious.
the French. Well, I'm guessing it's the
Oh,
French word. It's the
it's
tourtière.
cipat. And the tortilla would be kind of a smaller version of that.
But it's in that, so it's in the sense of meat pie, still-ish.
Yeah,
That's a little bit different.
it's still a meat pie. And a tortilla is actually kind of leaner and usually a single meat.
Yep,
And you're not going to
not.
get potatoes. You're not going to get vegetables in
I
there.
like one of our
Um,
pies, just a mince,
yeah,
just a one meat thing.
it's more a tortilla is really kind of the standard meat pie that everybody on the planet kind of knows.
Yeah.
Um, it's
And interesting
basically,
there, like,
but yeah, what I'm explaining here, this spot is really just a kind of a. It's both a meat pie and a shepherd's pie crammed into one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a bit more of a
So,
deluxe version
Mm.
of a shepherd's pie.
and yeah, that's the kind of stuff that
That's not bad.
that's
That's
the kind
good.
of stuff that my grandma was fattening me up
Oh, I can see
on
why. Oh,
just a couple weeks ago. Uh,
can I come to grandma's house? Oh,
oh yeah, oh yeah, grandma's recipe, and that is dangerous.
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 But yeah, that's my question.
Dangerous.
Just the holiday
Yep.
traditional
What
food.
do you?
Yeah, like,
Whatever's guest family is.
What are your
shows up
family's
next.
traditional food for the holidays?
yeah, right. Yeah, I'm keen to see who we got on next is
Be a
the
nice
fucking
little
answer, because
question.
that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
we'll have to do it. Yeah, no, that's cool. I like it. I like food.
Who fucking doesn't, man? Like,
But
goddamn.
but no, I think it's been a good episode. I enjoyed it. I may look like I don't,
Yeah.
but I do. I don't know. I get to, I sometimes
Okay, don't.
so no, but sometimes I feel like I get to that point where it's just because like the ADHD or whatever, just like
Yeah, it just kicks in.
it's just I like
That's
look
fair.
like a but like my brain's still absorbing in the background, and I'm
I was still
yeah.
I was still about to give a little teaser for the next time I come in
I know you were talking about that, and then
before I
Jim was
got
like,
interrupted. And one thing that I could say is, well, I have stories about working in the adult industry for several years.
yes,
And I have not even started to broach into that on today's podcast. And
No,
we've already
that's-
gone way over.
that's what I mean.
So,
There's a lot there. We
I
can
could
I mean,
probably
we
do
haven't
a
gone way
whole
over.
episode
Like,
of just
the
stories
podcast
from
hasn't got
that.
a time. It really hasn't.
no.
Like,
said-
if I get started on that, we're definitely getting to the, like, longest episode record territory. So
It become just like a marathon. With just a marathon episode, like
of just bullshit stories.
Yeah.
it's
just
it's gonna get
just a full
ridiculous.
5 hour
I mean, like
binge,
we could literally. That's why I've talked about. They're saying like we could become almost like a radio show, and we just talk and then just chuck on some music for a bit, while and then come back and then because like while the music's
Yeah.
playing, it's like that's our break to go top up our drinks, go to the toilet, come back, and be like, oh, welcome back, you know.
You can do that whenever if you've got multiple people, because you can just one can
I
just
know.
keep going. whenever
As I
gets-
say,
does
realistically, if I
something.
really wanted to, I
As
could just
long
go
as somebody
get up and
holds
go.
the fort. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
like-
gotta clean my computer up and remove files around and clear shit up and back things up again at some point so I can record more again.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
very happy I reformatted mine not long ago. I was very due.
It gets crazy after a while.
Anyways,
But yes, Jim, do you want to do the our inaugural outro for the first episode.
Inaugural. The normal outcome. Like,
Remember, Jim. Remember, it's season 6, episode 1. Don't confuse.
Yeah. what?
Don't confuse yourself.
I'm not. I said, what?
What did you say?
Oh. No, that's because I did my book and I just lost track of the episode it was. Because like the book ends at the last time I had my book was like May. The 4th of May. Last time I wrote something in this damn thing.
Oh, that's been a minute.
And but yeah. Thank you, Bearded and Beardettes, for joining us on this wonderful fucking episode. Yeah, season 6, episode 1. That does. I wasn't gonna
Thank
forget
you very
that.
much for having me.
No, thanks for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you.
So
Raven.
last minute and dragging out your precious time for like 3.5
the
hours.
last like 3.5,
Nearly 4 hours.
40 minutes.
Bro, I
We hope
wanted
you-
to stay awake just to turn my freaking sleep schedule around. You
Yeah.
guys are helping me right now.
No, that's
all
good.
I-
Definitely freaking helped.
That worked. But yes.
We hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Raven, for joining us. Very last
pleasure.
minute.
My
Very
pleasure.
last minute. So we hope you enjoyed, watched, listened, whatever you did. We have been Dale, Jim, and Raven, and we'll catch you next week. Bye bye.
See you guys.
Bye.